We can start with that. I'm not going to say who it was. But I did a podcast like that where they just kept, like, I tell them, hey, it was fist away from your face, give or take. You know,
was us.
No, I'm not. It wasn't you guys. It was someone that I met for the first time, and the whole podcast, while I was speaking, I hear.
So hard to deal with, man.
And I'm like, dude.
Yeah, that's bad.
It was fucking bad. But anyway, I'm glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, stoked to be here, man.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've had you guys separately, and now it's cool to have you guys together. So, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Like I said earlier, I'm slightly hungover and bombed my ass off last night. So I'm recovering from that. How far away are you from your show day?
I'm about 3 weeks out right now.
Congratulations. How many calories a day?
It depends on the day, but if it's like a high day, then it's probably around 11 to 1200, and then if it's a low day, closer to 9.
It's disgusting.
That's
horrible.
Sounds
That
crazy,
is,
but
yeah.
I'm also a small person though, so like that probably sounds really extreme, but for someone that's, 20 pounds more than me and taller, they're gonna of course have more food. So
yeah, I just remember when I was doing that the one time that I did it, and I'll never do it again because fuck that. The last 11 days, I think I was at 900 calories.
oh my god.
And that was horrible. It's like trying to
That's murderous, dude.
Yeah, just trying to dry yourself out, get all the water and all like the salt out of your body, and then trying to rehydrate just a little bit before the show so you don't pass out. Mm-hmm. And then like, I remember my coach, he was having me like backstage. I would eat when I was like pumping up for the show. I would eat like Sour Patch Kids and shit to try to get like the simple like sugars and carbs or whatever to fill the muscle. It made zero sense to me. Because what competition or like what category are you competing in?
It's in the OCB and it's the wellness category. So there's there's fit model, that's the newest category. Then there's bikini, and then there's wellness, and then from there there's figure, physique, and then bodybuilding. So,
You're doing what? One more time, what are you doing?
Wellness.
Okay,
yeah.
so how does that differentiate between the others? Like, what are you focusing on for wellness as opposed to like, I'd imagine with bodybuilding, it's just as much muscle as humanly fucking possible. Because OCB is supposed to be tested, right?
Yeah, so they polygraph everyone,
Yeah,
and then the winners.
Did you do OCB as well? Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you pay $50 and the polygraph is maybe 4 minutes.
I know, it feels
know.
like a money grab for sure.
It was pretty funny when we walked in, because we went to the hotel to do her polygraph test. I was like, all right, I'll be out here. I was holding all her shit, and I was like, fuck, I don't know how long this is going to take. And it was like over before I was like looking at my phone, and she came out. I was like, that's it? It was like, holy shit.
I know.
You still got drug tested though, right?
Yeah, the winners get drug tested, which is annoying too because a lot of people are like dehydrated. So then you have to sit in a room with someone, and then somehow pee after probably not having a whole lot of water all day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they urine test the winner of each category, each open category. But I guess I could compare wellness to bikini, since bikini's probably the most not popular, but probably the one that people see the most often. So for bikini, they want to see symmetry between your upper and lower body. So they really don't want your upper body to be more dominant than your lower, or vice versa, like your lower body bigger than your upper body. In wellness, they definitely want to see a little bit more leg dominance. Now, that's not to say that they don't want your upper body developed or that they want it to look exactly like the bikini upper body, but they definitely won't focus on the lower body dominance. So that's when your training can come into play, but also I would say mostly genetics, like how you're framed already, has a large part in where you end up competing.
They want that Mewtwo physique. Big legs, small upper body.
Yeah, that silhouette is
Mewtwo
exactly
physique is wellness.
That's on the criteria.
Improvised Intelligence is sponsored by the amazing people over at Chop Chili. If you've been a long time listener to the podcast, you know that this is my favorite brand of chili here in New Mexico. Pretty much put it on every meal that I can. They've got red chili, green chili. My personal favorite is this blend of the red and the green. I think this stuff is phenomenal. They also have frozen bags of green chili that you can order directly from their website at chopchilico.com. You can also find them in stores around the state of New Mexico at Sprouts, Albertsons, Farmers Country Market, John Brooks, Keller's Farm Store, Lowe's Market. And you can also find them in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Hobbs, Gallup, Tucumcari. And for all my friends in Texas, they are in El Paso. Again, chopchilico.com. Go get yourself some amazing chili. Now back to the podcast. That's funny as shit. And then on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, you just got done doing your powerlifting.
Yeah.
Fucking, how did that go, dude? You got like second place, right?
I got second,
you fucking ape.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to put you, the reason why I put you on that side is so you didn't eclipse your wife.
well, I was hoping to mog the hell out of her, you know. But no, but yeah, it went good. I didn't hit the numbers that I wanted. They called me on depth on my first squat, so I had to redo that first squat just to play it safe. It was 496, Jesus and then Christ. Second one I did 418 or 518. I got that. The goal was 540 for the meet. I didn't hit it because I only had 3 attempts. That's the thing about powerlifting; you only get 3 tries, and then you're done. You're
also putting so much weight on your back that just to do that over and over again. I mean, you're not going to get the same output. I mean, you could obviously like a warm up that you do, but I mean, if you're putting 500 pounds on your fucking back, dude.
Well, I mean, the dude that beat
natural.
The dude that beat me squatted 6'11", and I was trying to I knew he was gonna have a big squat. I wanted to overcome that with bench and deadlift. Didn't happen, but I figured if I hit 540, you know, if I bench good and I deadlift heavy, then I'd be able to overcome that 600-pound squat. But I mean, if you're squatting 6 versus squatting 5, that's a huge difference in strength, you know?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So, yeah, he did that, and then we went to bench. My bench, I wanted to hit 365. I've hit it plenty of times out of competition, and then whatever reason that day wasn't there, so I ended up with like a 345 bench, I think. And then deadlift, at that point, I was like, fuck, I've already missed my squat and my bench. I'm just gonna whatever on deadlift. I ended up hitting 611, which was a PR on like a power bar. So I'm happy with that, you know.
So what are you walking around at right now?
I was 215 this morning.
God.
I competed in the 231 weight class, and then previously I've been cutting to 205, and this one I was like, fuck it, I don't want to cut. Competed 231. It was small for the weight class. And then,
well, I was gonna say, because in comparison to, I'd imagine, to other people at that competition, and then in comparison to the numbers you're putting up, that's about middle of the road. Like, you're not super heavy. Like, you're not like just putting on excess fat like a lot of powerlifters do.
Yeah, and
they have that fucking belt to keep it all in with other 15 hernias, and
I've made that mistake before, like trying to just get as big as possible. I've been like 240, 245 before, and just felt like shit, you know. And then being a firefighter, being that heavy is not. It's not the best, you know what I mean? You feel like shit when you're doing the job, so...
Well, I was going to say, like... lighter. I mean, I'm not going to say, obviously, what... No, I mean, you put on your social media, because you do Burn Co., right? Mm-hmm. So, how... When you're training for powerlifting, you obviously have to put on as much muscle as humanly possible to be as strong as possible to pick up heavy shit. But your... You know, what puts bread on the table is... Again, firefighting, so you're putting on a ton of gear. You have to have a good cardiovascular system. You have to have good conditioning to be able to do that so you don't die in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So when you're training, how do you mitigate those two things together? Like, how do you make them cohesive?
It's usually like usually I don't train specifically for powerlifting. Like, as weird as that sounds, like I really don't. It's more just like kind of like a strength and cardio type of shit, really simple type of training, but I try to do more cardio, like especially when I'm on shift. I'll do like circuits and shit like that versus like just trying to lift heavy.
Are you just genetically bound to be big? and to be strong. Well, because you were talking about genetics earlier, like, and people are certainly predisposed for that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, my dad's pretty jacked. He's like 60. He's pretty jacked. My brother's pretty
Their
jacked.
Whole family.
Yeah. So, I'm like
mutants.
half. You know, my dad's like Italian. Fucking WAP, like, you know, he's got the WAP genetics, and then my mom has the oh fuck, it's the WAPs. So he's got the WAP genetics, and he's always had big arms. He's always been into lifting, and then my mom's side of the family, hardworking Mexican American. So I think so. I think genetically just predisposed. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take anything away from lifting and hard work, but I definitely think. Probably like above average genetics, as douchey as that probably sounds.
Yeah, well, no, dude, that's totally fair. Because I remember growing up, like, I don't have a ton of memories of my dad, but I remember growing up, he was fucking yoked, like,
Really?
like, oh yeah, fucking jacked to the gills, and spent all his time in the gym, very clean and strict diet, but and he like. When I was growing up, he would show me like all the fucking Schwarzenegger and Stallone movies and all the '80s, just fucking blow them up.
When men were men.
Yeah, exactly.
Van Damme and fucking,
like Commando. I probably watched Commando 10 times as a kid.
Oh yeah,
that is imprinted on my fucking skull. But my family swears up and down that he was not on steroids, and I look at the rest of his family. Now, granted, none of them are like huge into like working out or training or anything like that, but just again, genetically speaking, I look at the rest of the side of that family, and I haven't seen him in fucking probably 10 years, but like, I think about the rest of that family, and he's like the only one that was just super duper, like, again, training and eating well will take you very far, but it can only take you so far.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like 99% sure that fucker was on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, I wonder about stuff like that, like how much that actually plays into shit. Because, I mean, I've only been, like, powerlifting for about 5 years. And, from even just, like, deadlifts, like, I remember struggling with, like, 300 pounds. And then, like, kind of working my way to where, like, 600 I can do kind of, like, on, like, any day, like, 585, 600 pounds. So I wonder, like, how much... Some people are like fight their life to get to 600. I'm fighting for my life to get to 7, but like I'm hitting the ceiling, you know what I mean? And I wonder all the time, like, is that actually a thing? And then I'm like, I'm just being a bitch. Like, I just need to fucking add more, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to train harder. Because I mean, they try to, I think they being like the fitness community tries to put like a lot of caps on shit like that. Like, oh, it's just I've hit my genetic limit or whatever the fuck,
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I've hit my genetic limit or whatever. It's time to like, stop trying or, just coast on this or I don't know.
Well, now I see a bunch of fitness influencers trying to push like their partnership with different, like TRT companies and the supplement clinics, especially out in Austin. There's a ton of that.
Yeah.
I'm totally like supportive of that. I mean, if I had the money for it, I'd be on fucking test right now.
Yeah.
I miss it every day. I don't miss putting a needle in my ass, but I miss how it made me feel. I felt like fucking Superman, dude.
Yeah.
And not just because like the strength gains were great and I would wake up casually with like 4 abs. It was like for real. Like my diet was good, but I would fuck off. Like I would eat a whole pizza and then the next morning I had like abs.
Just a casual vein.
Yeah, it was fucking phenomenal. But like I was resting a lot better. I was recovering a lot better. And but on the other hand, it's like there is there's a lot of people that kind of like I see what you're trying to say. They try to really make an impression on people that like you're gonna hit your genetic cap a lot sooner than you think.
Yeah.
So therefore,
or that it even exists, right? Because I'm like, is that even a thing?
I think so. I don't
know.
I'm not a doctor. All right, I'm not a doctor. I'm not well educated at all. I dropped out of college 4 times. Okay, I just want to preface by saying that. But I mean, in theory, because if you look at, we just lost Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Right, cardiac arrest. Now, granted, he clearly didn't, like, he was juiced, obviously, but he didn't do, like, his era of guys were on, like, I think the best way I've heard it put is they trained and then used steroids as supplements.
Yeah.
Whereas today, a lot of people use like their workouts and their dieting as supplements to the steroids.
Yeah.
You know, they always just put grams of shit in them over and over and over with next to no like post-cycle therapy, and then they're dead at fucking 38, 35.
Yeah.
When they never like cycle off of it, they just stay on it
Right.
like forever.
In perpetuity. But you can't just like Trin isn't that like a bull steroid?
I
I
don't know. I've heard it's like a horse stuff, but that's a different. I don't know. I'm honestly pretty uneducated, but like
I intentionally don't read into it.
No, I do. I mean, I look into
so
it.
Awesome.
I look into it, but I'm just like I don't know the specifics on trend, but I know that's a big one that everyone always talks about. But back to that point, I don't think that Hulk was on the amount of steroids that any of these like bodybuilders are on, and even like Arnold in that era, 70s, 80s. I don't think they were taking nearly as much as people do now to be like obviously open pros. Since like the 90s and 2000s are on a fucking ridiculous amount of shit.
Agree.
You know?
Well, because especially
300 pounds lean, like that's completely different than Hulk Hogan. Like you look at him and he was like 280, maybe close to 300, but a lot of like excess body fat too.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like completely shredded like someone like Batista.
Yeah.
In his prime, like that dude looked like a fucking bodybuilder in his prime. You know.
I don't know how those guys like him or John Cena, like I don't know how they move around the ring.
Yeah.
And don't get just immediately gassed.
Yeah. Well, Batista did. When you watch old Batista matches back, he'd get blown up pretty quick. But Cena never, you know, he was always like on point, one of the goats in the ring. But Batista, you could see him. Like he's like dying like after like 3 moves. You know what I mean? He's like having the other guy kind of take over the match, and he's fucking, you know, he's blown up walking out. You know, he's fucking great too. I love Batista, but you can tell.
But my point with the genetic cap is like you see these guys that get on a lot of gear and they blow past the genetic cap and their body breaks down.
Yeah.
Like they have bone issues later, and they have like you have muscular dystrophy because that artificial muscle is getting degraded. It's not being supported by the gear that you're taking, but your body just isn't built to support. I think your body naturally is built to support its own proportionate amount of muscle and tissue and fat, if that makes sense. Like, and then on the opposite end of fitness, you have extremely obese people that just put on, you know, they're like 50, 60% body fat, where they just have a gluttonous amount of fat on them, and they have joint issues, they have bone issues, they have their own muscle issues because they can't support all of it that's on top. You see what I'm trying to say?
Your body doesn't know the difference if you're 300 pounds of muscle or 300 pounds of fat. You know
Is that
what I mean?
true?
Yeah, it's true.
No
like,
shit.
If it's like super physiological amounts or whatever, meaning like you using
Enhanced.
Hormones to get to that level, then your body's not going to know the difference. That's why these guys are dying young. And like Rich Piana, rest in peace, he fucking died at what, like 45?
But he was, you know, with him, at least he was honest about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At least he was transparent about, hey, I go to Mexico and get, what was it? The
Synthol?
The synthol. It wasn't silicone, the synthol stuff.
Yeah, I think he did admit that he did that once. Maybe, I don't know. Because he definitely has it. You can, when you watch back his videos, you're like, this dude, like a lot of it, not a lot of it, but some of it isn't muscle. Like,
it's like fat
it doesn't
muscle.
Move. You know what I mean? Like he'll like flex and it like doesn't move. It looks weird.
That's the thing. It would only move because he would do that thing when he would get done with a set and he would move his arms like that.
Yeah.
And like his tricep would like flubber like fat, but then he would flex it, and then you're right, like it would like flex here, and then the rest of this would just be like gluttonous.
Right. Yeah. Strange looking. He was a fucking freaky looking dude. You know, 300 pounds and just looked weird, you know?
Yeah. The 8-hour arm workout. I saw that shit. Dude, okay, we need to, like, me and my buddies, when we really, like, got into the gym, like, in high school, we would watch his videos, and we'd be like, we could fucking do that.
Yeah,
We could do an 8-hour arm workout.
You're like 160 pounds. You're like, fuck yeah, dude. That's how we did that? Yeah, fuck yeah. I can do that. Yeah. All you have to do is work out for 8 hours. That's fucking easy.
I remember he had this video. It's, looking back on it, it's so stupid gym bro logic, but he had this video where he was like, this is how you grow your arms. So think about it. If you go to bed watching a horror movie, you have nightmares about the serial killers, all your brain can think about. But before you go to bed, if you do 100 curls and 100 tricep extensions and just no food, no water, just go to bed, well, all your brain can think about is pumping up those muscles.
Damn right.
It has to work. And if we were watching that like 16 years old, like, yeah, dude, that'll work.
Bulletproof logic there.
Yeah, it's great logic.
I tried that like my sophomore year of high school, because I remember I went to my grandparents' house for Christmas, and my grandfather, he had a bench press set in his bedroom. And he had like old school bench press and like an old school dumbbell setup where you like put the weights on, have the little like the clip to put on there.
Yep.
And so I fucking tried doing that. And so I did like as many reps as I could. And I was like, I don't want to go to bed yet. I'm gonna play Xbox. So I did that and immediately went to sitting like this for about 4 hours. And then I went to bed and I woke up and my muscles were locked into place. Like I literally I could not extend my arms. So I had to grab the dumbbells and then gradually put on like the 5-pound plates and walk around the house like this.
Stretch them out.
Stretch my arms back out because they were stuck like this.
Damn.
Yeah.
Classic,
it was
dude.
rough. I want to talk to you guys about the hatred of The Rock.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, about the hatred of The Rock. Because you guys are much bigger pro wrestling fans than I am. And I look at The Rock, how he ruined Henry Cavill. And he ruined the DC universe. Like, he didn't ruin the DC universe, but he put, like, the final nail in the coffin. And now, ever since, like, Superman came out, I'm sure you've seen him, too, like, the memes, where it's, like, the compilation of him saying the hierarchy of power is going to change.
Yeah.
And everyone's just laughing at him.
Yeah.
And now James Gunn did that. I don't know if you saw it, but James Gunn did an interview where he didn't say The Rock, but he's like, yeah, there were just some people trying to force their way into Warner Brothers, and that was never part of the equation, and it ruined it for Henry Cavill and all that stuff. Now that The Rock is The Rock like in wrestling full time now?
No.
Because you guys obviously follow this a lot more than I do. Like, what's his place in wrestling? And is he like a benefit to the industry? Because he's a great wrestler.
He is. I would say he's a benefit to the industry. Like, if you're looking at it from like a business aspect or whatever, like anytime he comes back, everyone's fired up, obviously. Myself included, because it's usually pretty good when he does come back. But he tries to shoehorn himself into shit, and then he makes commitments and then he backs out. So like he set up a match, and then like he set up this whole angle with John Cena, Cody Rhodes, all this shit. And then we went to WrestleMania, and I was like, The Rock's coming out, dude. It's gonna be you know what I mean? Like
the shirt.
Yeah,
I fucking love that shirt, dude.
And so apparently there were plans for him to be at that WrestleMania, and then he like had prior commitments and he was somewhere else. So like he'll shoehorn himself into it and like make like this big scene about it, and then everyone is like, all right, cool. Like The Rock's in it, should be pretty good. And then WrestleMania happens, and The Rock doesn't show up, and he sends Travis Scott out, and we're just kind of left there like, the fuck, you know, like.
So has that, because they've been doing that lately with like the newer, or I guess the currently popular, with obviously with the younger audiences, celebrities coming out like fucking, who's that streamer that came out?
They had MGK and
they've had celebrities since the beginning. Like they had I think WrestleMania 1, they had Cyndi Lauper. So
Shit.
Yeah, and they had like Mr. T, you know what I mean? It's like Roddy Piper and Mr. T, or Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper, and bad wrestling fan. I can't remember who was teaming with Roddy Piper, but
well, at least Mr. T makes sense.
Yeah, right.
Send out a skinny little twig, like it's like sending me out to the Royal Rumble. Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when they just get their it's cool. Like I know who you're talking about, and he ate like a nasty speed.
Yeah,
he ate like a nasty spear from Braun Breaker. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like if they're gonna go out there, like MGK got powerbombed through a table. Like if they're gonna go out there and just get fucked up, you know what I mean? Because they're clearly not wrestlers. You know what I mean? So like to keep like the story alive and make wrestlers look like wrestlers, you know what I mean? They can't get the shit beat out of them by Travis Scott, you know what I mean? Then you just look like a pussy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a TV show. At the end of the day, it's a TV show, you know what I mean? And like, I don't want like to watch something and be like, this is fucking bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, I try to remove myself from reality when I'm watching it and just like enjoy it for what it is. But when Travis Scott is beating up Cody Rhodes, I'm like, this is dumb. This dude should be like whooping his ass, you know what I mean? Like, it's just it bugs me. But to get back to the Rock hate, it's more than that. It's just like the fake natty shit. The Rock pisses me off with that. And like he hasn't made a good movie in 20 years. I don't know. I've never really liked even in wrestling. Like The Rock is obviously one of the GOATs, like as far as putting wrestling on the map, but Always been more of a Stone Cold guy.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, like those guys. The Rock, he's he's good, but he's not like Hogan versus Rock. I was pulling for Hogan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want the Hulk Hogan to win. I don't want the Rock. But
It does suck on the Hulk Hogan subject. It does suck in his passing. You have clearly the wrestling fans are like, yeah, he's fucking the shit. He did.
No, there's a lot of wrestling fans that fucking hate Hulkster too, and
yeah,
it's understandable. But at the same time, when he dies, or once anyone dies, like it just irks me when people are like happy that people are dead.
Yeah,
that's what kind of pisses me off.
Or they're like implying that they're happy that they're dead.
Yeah, they're like celebrating that someone's dead. I'm like, hey man, like that's pretty fucked up. He had his controversies as like a person, but like you can't deny like the shit that he did for pro wrestling.
Was he like
putting him on the map?
Do you think he was actually a racist? Because I've only seen the only wrestler I've ever seen. Like again, I'm not as deep into it, so this is outside looking in. But the only wrestler that I've seen of any significance talk about his racial views was Booker T.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly what he said in the interviews. I think it was in the last 5 years or so. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, it's like we heard him say the N-word, and I called him the N-word, and he called me the N-word, and then we were cool. It's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know him. I know he said it on that tape, and he was talking about his daughter dating black guys, and said some pretty gnarly shit. So I mean, there's no defending. There's no defending.
Yeah,
that.
no, I'm asking you to defend.
No, there's no defending. And I'm not saying anything about Hulk Hogan. Was he a good person, bad person? As a wrestler, he was the fucking man. You know what I mean? And
separate the art from the art.
As a character.
As a character, yeah. And I mean, in general, fuck, dude. Michael Jackson, all the fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Everyone listens to his music and is like, yeah, his music's fucking solid.
I have a hot take about Michael Jackson. I don't think he was a pedophile.
No?
Personally. No,
That's crazy.
No, I really don't. Well, because I'd have to look it up because I haven't looked into it in a few years, but there's a lot of things that came out. Did you ever watch the Returning to Neverland or Finding Neverland or whatever documentary on HBO?
Yeah.
Where it had the two victims talking about in detail what happened to them. Mm-hmm. So I remember I only watched the first episode. Me and my buddy, we watched the first episode and we were like, well, I'm not going to watch the second one. That was horrible.
I remember everyone saying that same thing.
Did you guys watch that?
I watched all of it, yeah.
You did?
No.
Dude. You did? Dude.
See, I don't watching shit like that. That's gonna make me
It's
awful.
No. Well, because they have these this dude sitting. They're in a hotel room, right, or something like that, and they're interviewing him, and they have this guy sit in front of the camera. He's like, Michael Jackson had me bend over and spread my cheeks, and he would just stare at my butthole. What?
Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting to hear that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that came out after that. It was during the pandemic, I believe, when it came out, where they may or may not have been exaggerating stories or have been paid to say stuff that were defamatory against Michael Jackson. But my theory has always been that because it was Macaulay Culkin and I think two other alleged victims. When they put them on the stand, and if we're taking under oath as for what it's worth, no one ever said that he was assaulted. Right, or that they were assaulted by Michael Jackson. And when you look at how Michael Jackson was raised, he was chemically castrated by his father at 11 years old, I think, 10 or 11 years old.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's an actual thing.
Yeah. So he was chemically castrated to keep his voice high. And so when you do that to somebody and you stop their hormone production, greatly. Stunt it rather because he clearly still grew into a man and whatever, but if you're stopping hormone production that much, I'm just curious. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not well educated, but my theory is what does that do to the brain? And then if you stop that at an early age, do certain parts of the brain stop aging at that age? You don't have the same urges, right? Exactly,
sexual urges.
Exactly. He never. I mean, he couldn't have kids, but Michael never got married. He had relationships, but I mean, as far as the public eye was concerned, it didn't exactly come off as romantic. You know what I mean? And then he spent all of his money building a giant amusement park for kids, and that kids visited on a regular basis. You know, and like my thing is, and look,
see, that's suspect right there, bro.
right. But I think
in his backyard and having people over, right?
But I think it's like the intentionality behind it. Like, is there malicious intent attached to it?
Yeah.
And especially now, I mean, hindsight is always, you know, a pain in the ass. But like we see now what happens to all these child stars in various. I mean, that fucking Netflix or Nickelodeon documentary that came out.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that Drake Bell was getting assaulted.
Yeah.
By what, his acting coach or whatever during the Amanda Bynes show, and then he's going through all the litigation during Drake and Josh. I mean, nobody knew all that. And then, and again, I'm not excusing what he did later on with like hanging out with 16-year-olds and like bringing them to clubs in Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
But my point is like I wonder with all of the hormonal issues that was forced upon Michael, what that did to his brain. How much of his brain actually matured into an adult, and how much of his brain stayed as a child?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he did seem like kind of like childlike.
Yeah.
You know, even just talking.
And his
stuff.
mannerisms and the way that he would speak in interviews. And
but have you seen him live? Like, have you watched any? Like, not like in person. But have you seen his performances? Yeah. Dude, fucking insane.
Right.
He was the fucking like. I remember like I've never really been like a huge fan or anything, but. For some reason, I was watching a bunch of Super Bowl performances, and I saw his, and then I went down a rabbit hole watching, like, some of his live performances. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, no wonder people were calling him, like, the king of pop. Like, people were legit passing out. And this is, like, not, like, Beatlemania passing out, you know? In the 60s, this is, like, in the 90s, 2000s, people were, like, straight up unconscious because Michael Jackson just came out of the fucking ground or whatever. He's like, hasn't even played anything yet. He's just standing there, and people are going fucking nuts, dude. And then he plays and sings or performs and sings. He was the fucking man, dude. As far as like performances go, unreal. When you watch the videos back, you're like, what the fuck, man?
And he was at that regimen of just practicing and training his performances and just all that repetition from being like 5 or 6 years old, pretty much up until when he died.
Yeah, I mean, there's his whole life.
So I wonder like how much of, again, like the building the Neverland Ranch. And having, you know, a zoo back there. And then apparently his house was just filled with, like, comic book stuff and collectible stuff. I wonder how much of that was just him trying to remain a kid and then give that childhood experience that he never had to other kids. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard, at least when I look at it through that lens, it's hard for me to attach that he was a pedophile. You know, you see what I'm trying to say? Now, should grown men be laying with kids in bed? No. That ain't cool.
Well, the thing for me are like the parents like letting that shit happen too. You know what I mean? They're just like, yeah, you can go hang out with Michael Jackson, and you know we'll pick you up, fucking, you know, tomorrow, whatever. Like, I mean that.
But you also got to imagine what kind of parents. They're obviously not great parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's on them. It's on them as well. As much as it like, you know, I'm not saying as much as like obviously Michael Jackson doing creepy shit. You know, that's on him. But like the parents letting that shit kind of happen. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, you got to think about those parents too. Those are probably those parents that wanted to force their kids into show business or into acting or into music and just couldn't do it for whatever reason, never had the opportunity to do it. Like, oh, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, invited us to the fucking whatever. Yeah. Maybe we can get some money out of this. Maybe we can get some connection. You know how people are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like a huge opportunity to them. Right. I just think that like people in power like that, like I wouldn't put anything past them, and I kind of think that I think that there's way more pedophiles than we even are aware of.
What are you talking about? Epstein acted alone. No, we should be happy. Yeah. There's no list.
Yeah, there's no list.
There's no list. He trafficked to himself.
Yeah.
This is great news. There's no list.
He's completely innocent, dude.
Yeah, and then he was so guilty by the actions that he felt so much guilt from the actions that he acted by himself that he killed himself.
Yeah, took care of it.
It's a one-man show. Care of it.
Yeah, it's shut and closed. I don't know what people are freaking out about, to be honest.
Yeah, crazy shit, man. But yeah, anyone with money, like that amount of money, power, all that kind of shit, into weird fucking shit.
Or like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like all the Diddy stuff, like...
What was that?
Everyone who is like a popular musician now, like I'm sure that we talk about this a lot. Like I feel like they had to give up something to become as successful as they are.
Well, that's what's his name? Fucking the actor that kind of went schizo a little bit on Rogan, and then he went on Patrick Bet-David. Terrence Howard. Have you seen his interviews? He's fucking, if you want a good laugh, watch him on Rogan, and then Rogan brings him back to speak with Brett Weinstein. Do you know who Brett Weinstein is?
No.
He's a super smart, I want to say he's a biologist, but he's like a specific type of biologist.
Doesn't he talk about mushrooms a lot? Or is that a different guy? No, doesn't he go on with his wife on Joe Rogan?
He has before.
Okay,
yes, because
I know who you're talking
I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to do the Dark Horse podcast, and they were one of the first people during COVID to really speak out about like, hey, this is a lab-made virus. It's not as deadly as people think it is, but basically everything that is accepted now is like, yeah, it was gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab in China that led to this man-made virus that accidentally got let out because this place didn't pass fucking inspections for the last 7 years prior to 2020. But he was one of the first people to really speak out and do that. But yeah, Terrence Howard did an episode with him, and Brett Weinstein just sitting there just debunking everything that he's saying. Because Terrence Howard has like new theories on math and how time works, and he got,
oh shit,
yeah. But then he went on Patrick Bet-David, and that's what he was saying. Is he was like, yeah, he called out Kevin Hart, I want to say Chris Tucker, and I think a couple of musicians, and like, yeah, they got. I think he says that they got poked, or like they showed hole or something like that to get where they were in life,
yeah.
And he calls out a specific thing with Kevin Hart, where Kevin Hart was like working as a stand-up comedian. He got Def Jam a couple of times. He's working his way into the industry, and then he does this thing. I can't remember if it was like SNL or a movie that he did where he came out in a blue dress, and then after that, his career just skyrockets.
That humiliation rituals or whatever. Yeah, I've seen some stuff about that, and like specifically like John Cena, I think at the ESPYs, he like came out naked or something like that, and they were saying that was
the Oscars.
Oscars?
Yeah.
So they were saying that was like a humiliation ritual. They point to a lot of things like that. I don't know. I don't fucking know if it's true or not, but like it's cool to speculate. You know what I mean?
Honestly, dude, I'm open to anything at this point. I know I just defended Michael Jackson, but I am open to anything.
Wait.
I'm contradicting myself in real time, but it's also because I'm a fan of his music. Okay, I don't want people to be pedophiles. All right, I just want to open with that. I don't want them, but I know a lot of them are. But no, after this whole Epstein thing and the switch up with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, and honestly, the really disappointing one, like pedophilia and global sex trafficking is horrible, and that's like for me at the top of the list. But the one that really upset me too, that's not getting talked about a lot, is Tulsi Gabbard. Her switch up hurts. Like her cheering after that whole Signal Gate thing, where she's like applauding and approving of the bombing of Yemen and then the bombing of Iran. How she like kept that energy until after the bombing of Iran. It was, oh yeah, no, they were building weapons of mass destruction. No, you were right. You were right, Israel. They were.
It's kind of scary how we haven't heard anything about that. You know what I mean?
In what
way? After the fact, like no, like I feel like it's been pretty much silent about the bombing of Iran after that.
So
at least I haven't seen anything. Maybe I'm just uninformed. But
so what's been happening since that is they're officially calling it, I think, the 12-day war. That's what the Trump administration is calling it. Is that it was a 12-day war between America and Israel against Iran, and you know it was very Trump of the administration to do this, but right after the bombing, they were like, yeah, we've completely destroyed the nuclear facilities. It's been completely devastated. We won, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know,
the greatest strike probably ever.
Yeah, no,
I've
exactly.
been told that.
Yeah, and then like 5 days ago, like, well, actually, it turns out that we didn't destroy everything, and they actually moved a lot of their nuclear enrichment properties and a lot of the actual energy that they've been making. They actually moved a lot of those because they actually moved into a separate location. So we got to figure out where that's at, and then we have to continue like strikes and all that, and because basically, like from what I understand, is the deal that Iran had set up beforehand was they enrich the uranium in Iran, and then they ship it to France to get turned into energy like nuclear rods to be used strictly for like civilian and medical purposes. And I guess like what they were using to transport that, instead of, after the bombing happened, instead of using that as a way to get it enriched into properly used nuclear material, they moved it to a different part of Iran. So now they're talking about how they want to keep bombing Iran. And then we just bombed Syria. Nobody's really talking about that, which is one of the 7 countries in 5 years from General Wesley Clark. I don't know if you guys know about that. So in the 90s, there was a general, General Wesley Clark, and he came out and spoke about this in 2017. I want to say 2016, and then he went on Piers Morgan earlier this year, and because in 2016, 2017, he was like, yeah, in the late 90s, I saw this plan from the neoconservatives that were in power at the time, and it was a part of the clean break strategy, which was written by Richard Wormser and who's the other dude? I forget the other guy's name, but it was this memo that was written strictly to Benjamin Netanyahu, where it was like, this is basically how we're going to forward Israel's plans in the Middle East and bring basically peace to the Middle East by Israel's dominance. And it was to take over these 7 countries in 5 years. And we've attacked and overthrown regimes on behalf of Israel in every single one of these countries, except for Iran. Iran was always the last one. And Syria was on that list, and we just hit them again. So yeah, moving forward, who the fuck knows what we're gonna do? I mean, it is insane to bomb a country and then be like, all right, now's the time for peace.
Yeah.
It's that kid on the playground that punches you in the stomach and goes, "All right, we're done. We're done." While you're fucking gasping for air.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, let me get my air back, and now you're gonna get dog washed.
Yeah. Hey, no new wars, man.
Well,
America first.
Yeah, that's my thing with Tulsi Gabbard. Is like, I was a huge fan of her. Yeah. Like, she was never going to make it to the Democratic ticket, obviously. But if she was going to, I would have voted for her instead of Trump in 2020. Like, I didn't vote in 2020, but I would have voted for her instead of Trump then. And because that was her whole thing. It was like, we're doing these regime change wars that aren't helping anybody. We're at the time we've spent $9 trillion on these wars that have gotten us nowhere, at least. We are, at the time, I think we were like $29 trillion in debt. We can't continue this. We need to, stopping the world police and all this stuff. And then up until the bombing of Iran, she was like, hey, they're not building nuclear weapons. There is no evidence. And after that, she's like, oh, no, actually, they were doing it, and this is how we know. And she was changed on a dime. And it's
pretty disappointing that people just turn out to be like yes men type of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And no accountability, questioning of things. And if you do, then I don't know. It's kind of wild. It's pretty wild. What is ending up happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's unfortunate because the Trump administration coming into this, I've never been a big fan of Trump himself. But what I liked about this administration was that he had these amazing people around him. Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel. These people that have been anti-establishment. They're all former Democrats that are coming in. They're like, yeah, we're going to help the Trump administration get where we need to go. And he picked a bunch of loser fucking people in his administration to be there. Like Mike Johnson stuck around. Fucking Marco Rubio stuck around. That's unfortunate. But they bring in these other people that are counter to what the Republican Party is to hopefully get us on the right track, and they do nothing with it. Even their best, what they've been the best on right now with the immigration and the border stuff, they're fucking deporting people if you protest Israel.
I mean, and that's a whole other thing. Like the beautiful bill, spending fucking an insane amount of money on ICE, federal, just giving more power to federal fucking agencies when this administration is supposed to be anti-establishment type of deal, and then we give more money, a fuck ton of money, to 3-letter agencies. You know what I mean? And it's come on, man. What are we doing here?
It's adding over the next 10 years. It's supposed to add $14 trillion to the debt and another $7 to the deficit.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, you can't tax people enough. Even if we tax I forget who did the math, but somebody did the math 2 weeks ago. You could tax all of the billionaires, I think 90%, and we still wouldn't get out of the debt in any serious amount of time. And if you tax them that much anyway, their companies would go under So you kind of just cut the legs out from American industry anyway.
Well, that's how you know money's not real.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
It's not fucking real,
always
dude.
says
The
this.
debt isn't fucking real. None of that shit is even real, dude.
Well,
if it was, we'd be fucked, but...
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I wonder, like, how far into the debt we have to go until we either have to default on our loans and not crash the economy, but set the economy back, or we continue on the path that we're going and we lead, because unfortunately it looks like to me, because what they're really worried about is BRICS. You know what that is? So BRICS is a coalition that got started, I think, officially in 2015, but it got more relevant during the pandemic because of our response to it, and how it basically crashed our economy. And basically what it is I want to pull up the actual countries because I don't want to misspeak, but it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And then countries keep getting added to it. And basically what it is, it's a coalition in which a bunch of these countries get together. And in 2024, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, which is a huge part of it, or a huge issue, got added to BRICS. And basically what it is it's a coalition of countries that want to move off the US dollar into the Chinese yen. And that's what really fucks America, is if you move the world off of the US dollar and we go to yen, nobody trades, sells, purchases, anything that moves money in the US dollar, that we basically fall down a slippery slope.
The US dollar, the loss of the dominance of that would,
we quickly become a third world country.
Yeah, for sure.
And because I think it's very stupid, and it is fake and gay. I hear this coming out of my mouth, and it's fucking gay. But the world has a credit system, and it goes from AAA to D, I want to say. And we've been at AAA up until 2021, and we went to AA. And basically it just means like the reliability. It's like your credit score. Like how willing is a bank to loan you a certain amount of money for it, like a car, a house, whatever. And if our credit goes down, we'll probably still get loans from other countries, but our interest goes up like crazy, which just puts us into more debt and it just spirals. And yeah, dude, money's not real.
It's not real. There's no fucking way. Ever since the fucking dollar stopped being based off of like tangible things like silver and gold,
well, I was going to say,
literally just a note.
Do you know the story of why we're off the gold standard with Richard Nixon and the French?
Not really.
Oh yeah, okay. All this does is prove your point.
No.
But all this. So when Richard Nixon was in power, we were. I forget what he did specifically to provoke France to do this, but I think it was we just started taking out more. Like we were borrowing a lot more from countries. And at the time, it was like, yeah, if you let us borrow, basically what happens is every dollar that we borrow is backed up by actual gold in our reserves. And whenever you guys want, just ask. And we'll give you your gold. We'll pay you back. It'll be fair and square.
Yeah.
Well, about halfway into his administration, maybe not even half, maybe like a year into it, France was like, hey, we want to cash in. Give us our gold. And I guess Richard Nixon goes to the prime minister or whatever of France, goes, hey, you can't fucking do this shit, dude. What are you doing? I thought we had an understanding here. Like, I thought I thought we had an understanding. And France was like, no, fucking pay up. And he goes, if you force us to give us your gold, we are going to tell everyone that you were trying to crash the American economy and send the world back to the Stone Age. Is that what you want? And they just pressed him. And so Richard Nixon went and made this public speech where he was like, all right, France is trying to ruin the American economy and is trying to crash the global system of trade. Now, we're going to pay France their gold, but for the time, we're going to move off the gold standard. We're going to do this, it would eventually become the fiat standard that we're on now. We're going to move off the gold standard. We're going to audit our gold, and we're going to pay France by the end of our administration. And we've just been off gold since.
Fucking it. Yeah. So it's the fucking Frenchies, dude.
They called our bluff.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then we just pointed our missiles at them, and we were like, "Don't do this. Like, you're not gonna get your fucking like a Looney Tunes cartoon where all the Acme missiles get pointed at Wile E. Coyote. Don't fucking do this." But I don't know, man. That's why. I don't know. It's very childish, I think, inherently, and I'm fine with that. But I think that's why I just surround myself with so much stuff from my childhood, so I can just kind of like break away from this kind of shit every now and again, like mental detox. You know what I mean?
I think that's a normal thing for our generation, and we talked about this recently. But like, it's our generation is pretty like hungry for nostalgia and to go back to a
Being
simpler
kid.
time. Yeah, when you're a kid, because I think that we're probably the last generation that had shit before internet, and like we had the very start of the internet, right? But like before all like social media and all this kind of stuff, infinite knowledge of everything going on, you know, and unlimited access to all these like musicians, celebrities that kind of take away from all like the magic behind like performances and shit like that, you know, like you get to like, I feel like back in the day when you like bought like a CD or something, like all you had was like that booklet to look at, and you're like, damn, like these guys are, you know, like, oh, this is insane. Like, these people, like, you don't know anything about them. And then you'd have to go see them live and then, you know what I mean? And maybe catch, like, an interview on TV. Now, like, if you find a band on Spotify, off chance, you know what I mean? It's a brand new band. There's, like, that little bio, and then they probably have a fuck ton of interviews, podcasts, you know what I mean? And you get to, unlimited access to these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas when we were kids, things were a lot, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot more, like, disconnection from shit like that, you know?
Yeah, well,
And it made it more special.
I agree. So on the entertainment side of things, I agree. The mystique of the movie star, of the entertainer, is gone.
Yeah, 100%.
And there are positives and negatives to that, because I think there is a humanization that's a good thing, where it's like, okay, yeah, there are people that have problems too. Because you would, I mean, you hear these, or you see these speeches or like interviews from celebrities back in the day where they're like, yeah, money doesn't make you that happy. Like, your problems, if you have issues, like deep-rooted issues, they don't go away with money.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people that would see that, or like us growing up with that, it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
My parents make a combined household income of, if you're lucky, like maybe $100,000.
Yeah.
120 grand combined. A lot of people make less than that per household. I would kill to have, all of our debt would be gone, all of our whatever.
Right.
But then you look at the normal people that get the Powerball or whatever, they win the lottery, and then they go bankrupt within a year.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, you don't know how to manage money. You come from, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
you have to know how to fucking...
But if you win, like, $400 million,
Yeah.
and even if you're accounting for, let's just say, half of that getting taken away by taxes,
Yeah.
which is insane,
Yeah.
but you're still left with $200 million,
Yeah.
how do you fuck that up?
Cocaine and hookers, dude. You know, like...
Yeah,
Those
just
are so
like-
expensive.
I feel like, you
Just
know...
like living above your means. Like, they
Yeah.
think
Your
that,
means is
But-
this moon, though. You know what I mean?
yeah, but no one knows how to plan for like the longevity of their, like, they don't think like, okay, this money has to last me until I don't know, for another 20 years. They think like, oh, I just get to spend this now, or I better spend it now before it's gone. Like, that type of mentality. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think you're both right, but it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like straw manning the argument, but like, you know what I mean?
No, I think if you have nothing, like, let's say, like, we all make nothing compared to $200 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all fucking broke compared to that. And if you're broke and then someone hands you $200 million, you're not going to know how to act. You know what I mean? Because you didn't have to, like, work to get that.
Oh, no, I
get
have
to
a
that
plan.
point. You know what
I
I
have
mean?
a plan,
Yeah,
dude.
I'm sure
Plan?
everyone has a plan.
I
but
have
then,
a plan.
you know.
I am running straight to because I work with a financial company right now to like try to build some kind of like long-term portfolio. It's very tiny right now, but it's like some kind of long-term portfolio. And I also have my Doge coin.
Hell
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Nice.
I am an investor.
Hell yeah.
But no, I'm going straight to my financial plan or planners, and I've got like 3 others. My buddy told me about a really good one because I eventually want to like branch out as I make more money. Like a really good one out in Vegas where he lives, and I'll just find a good one in New York just because like that's where the money is. And I bring them separate increments of just hundreds or tens of millions of dollars. He's like, hey, do something with this.
So you don't have a like one of those like, if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs like there would.
I mean,
be
for
some
sure.
Purchase that you would make.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't buy like a mansion or anything. I would buy a good house. You know what I mean? Like a solid, like 3 or 4 bedroom home in a developing area. And like, I'd probably buy one in Albuquerque because Albuquerque is developing. But like, I eventually want to move to Austin, so I'd probably buy a house out there. And there's not any property taxes out there, I don't think, in Texas.
Really?
It's like no property tax. No, there's no income taxes, sorry. But I would still buy a house, like a property out in Austin. I mean, my goal, if I had like a fuck ton of money, I'd do that Joe Rogan shit and buy a warehouse. For real. I'd buy a warehouse that has a personal gym, fucking bolstered up podcast studio, a garage to put a couple of cars in, a couple of rooms for me and my buddies to stay in when they're in town. That would be the big purchase. And then just figure out, but I would put my money into areas where it's just growing. You know what I mean? So that like it's like on the properties that I buy, so it's like a warehouse or like the houses, like all those, like all of the continuing taxes on that and the upkeep on that just gets paid for by itself. That kind of, I would do that.
Do you play the Powerball?
But no. I don't gamble on purpose, dude. Dude, there was a good 2-week period where my Instagram was giving me nothing but gambling reels, and it was people playing like the online gambling.
Yeah.
You ever seen like the Plinko balls, or the like the online blackjack, or the online baccarat or baccarat, whatever the fuck it's called, and them just losing all their money. Like they'll dump like 16 grand. And have you heard of Plinko balls? You know what that is? So basically, it's like it's gambling, and it's like this triangle of these like pegs, and you drop balls and then they bounce off the pegs, and at the bottom you have these multipliers at the end that are like, depending on what you use, like 10x, 50x, whatever, and it all goes into like 0.2x, so you lose money towards the middle. And these people like put $16,000 and just send like, and each ball is like worth $100 or $200, and they just send them, and they all just funnel into the bottom, so they lose $16,000 inside 30 seconds.
Yeah.
On their phone?
On your phone. Yeah.
So from the comfort of your home, you can lose them.
Yeah.
Damn.
And they accept credit cards.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
I'm surprised you don't get those ads.
No, nothing like that. Or you know I'm fucking broke.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah, right. Like, he'll be playing $1 balls. We don't fucking want this guy, dude.
I played my first slot several months ago in Vegas, and I like immediately, I think you gave me like $20, right?
Yeah.
I think
that's what I gamble with.
He's like, yeah, you're fucking right, I did.
I'm still waiting for that money back.
I was up for a while, and then I just like lost it all in like under a minute, and I was like, I'm glad I had that experience because I never want to do that again.
Well, I remember I went to they were doing the tattoo convention at like the Athletic Casino or whatever a few years ago. And I went there, and I had some extra money, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to play blackjack. Like, that's the only card game that I remotely know how to play, and I don't know how to play for the table. I don't know how to, like, play against the dealer. I just know that, like, don't go over 21. And I started with $60. I made my way up to, like, 270, I think, and then I lost all of it in 3 hands.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? In reality, I only lost $60.
Yeah.
That 270 or whatever the fuck I just made, that wasn't even real. Like that was just we'll just count that as a projected win or projected gains. I lost $60. We're leaving. I'm not doing this ever again. And then me and my buddies, we went out to Vegas a few years ago. Well, I guess a lot longer than a few years ago now, but we went out there and we were hammered on the casino floor, and a buddy of mine was like, yeah, I want to play blackjack. He goes and he sits down. It's him, some other guy, and ended up leaving like 2 hands later. And this other dude that was clearly a gambling addict. And I guess my buddy was just making bad plays, and this dude was getting furious. And he starts like, hey man, either play the fucking game or leave. And he kept saying that like 3 times. And then my buddy like made a bad play again, I guess, and he flipped out. I was like, you're losing my fucking ass, you piece of shit. Like he starts fucking yelling, and he's like about to swing at my buddy, and security had to come and like literally drag, again like a Looney Tunes character, like drag him out of the casino kicking.
Dude, it's so weird to see people that are that serious about it. Like, we passed, like, a whole table of people. I don't know what they were playing, maybe poker. But there were people in hoodies, sunglasses, like, no expression on their face. It's wild. It's, like, a different...
Well, a lot of those people, they want to make a career out of doing that. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a lot of people go there with, like, I don't know how I'm going to make rent this month, but I've got $100.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well, if you had $200 million, you know what I mean, and won that from the Powerball, I'm sure a lot of people are rolling to Vegas with, you know, a little bit of that, and then fucking develop, fucking losing money, you know, like.
Fuck that, dude. Imagine winning $200 million.
I think that shit changes you, dude. You know, I think that would change like that, you know, change a lot of shit. Well, I got money to blow. I got money to spend, you know what I mean?
Take a few months off of work.
Yeah.
That's one thing I would do, though, is if I won the Powerball, I think I'd keep going to work for 6 months. I think for 6 months, I would keep going to work and just stay normal. Because you don't want to just, like, immediately...
Lifestyle change.
Huge life. And everyone's like, what are you... Did you kill somebody? Like, do you deal drugs now? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to completely change things immediately. But, yeah, I would go to work for, like, 6 months. And just try to keep status quo, figure out how the dust settles, where's all the money going to go, how do I position myself properly to never work again after 6 months. But, I don't know, I think money's like the Captain America super soldier serum. You know, like it doesn't, like it changes you, but it only enhances who you are currently.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, so yeah, if you have a bad addiction to anything, I think getting more money enhances that because it opens the window or opens the door for you to do that addiction more, and then eventually it'll kill you or make you broke or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have more or less your shit in order,
probably be all right.
Yeah, maybe you'll be all right. Now, I'm definitely, you know, I'm definitely biased to myself because I'd like to think that I have my shit together, you know, usually. But I don't know, man. I'd have the best steroids though. Yeah, I'd have
top of the line.
Yeah, like the shit from Dubai. Like I would have the purest testosterone in the world. Well, that's what made me sad because like when I, you know, because I was getting it from the VA, it was good stuff. They just wouldn't give me enough. Like legit, they just, I think, and they were doing it so improperly too, where it was like, because when I was doing it at the time, I like nosedived into like reading as much as I could about both from like bodybuilders. I knew what they were talking about, and then like actual like article like research articles and like peer reviewed stuff about hormone therapies and like what does it do to you and all that stuff. And apparently you're not like the best way to do it is to do small doses like throughout the week. So like if you're doing therapeutic type, like a sub-Q injection is probably the best because you're not, because the one thing that did suck about taking tests was fucking getting a knot on my ass cheek just from like the needle consistently, you know what I mean?
You're doing what, like once a week?
Oh, well, so when I first started, it was once every 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And you had to pay for it, right?
No, not for the VA.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully not to the VA.
Well, I figure if you're taking small doses every day, that's probably like the most like accurate way of like your body naturally producing it.
Exactly.
Like,
right, because you want to
get bumps it throughout the day.
Yeah, because when they started me on it, I eventually maxed out what their dosage were. It was 200 milligrams every 2 weeks. So I would get that injection, and I would just, it wasn't even that much like sustained, because if there was like 3 days, I would be like up here, and then the next 11 days it's just going down, and then like I was like a zombie walking into the hospital and then up again like that.
Gosh.
Like that. Yeah,
well, that's how testosterone is anyway, right? Like when you wake up in the morning, that's supposed to be when your test is the highest, and then throughout the day it kind of gradually goes down, you know. And then, you know, if you work out or something, it drops, you know, and depending on foods you eat, all that kind of shit. So even when you go to the doctor and get your test checked, I mean, they don't really know what like the ranges of your actual testosterone. It's just
Right.
that
Like the
time of the
baseline.
day. Yeah, it's just that specific time of the day, what you were doing the week before, like were you lifting, were you sleeping bad, were you sleeping good? So you can kind of, I feel like you can kind of fake those tests in a way. I mean, I've never had low test when I go in, but I just feel like if I had a couple of nights of bad sleep or drinking or something like that, I could probably go in and probably have low testosterone.
Yes.
You know?
Well, 100%.
I think it's the free test that they check.
Yeah. Well,
And whatever that is, they really treat like the symptoms from what I understand.
Yes.
So like if you go in and you're having symptoms of low test, your testosterone's at a normal level, they should prescribe, depending on the doctor, like they should prescribe it, but I don't know. I feel like that is almost like it's a life sentence because you're always on it at that point, and then you're not producing it
It'd be hard
after.
to get off, yeah.
Like your body gets used to that to where, you're not producing it on your own anymore.
yes.
So it almost makes it worse.
So yes, but and that's where I was really happy because like I was already at a baseline of low testosterone. So when the most that I was taking was I ended up doing 400 milligrams a week, and twice a week I would inject 200. And that's where I felt at my best. I never had super therapeutic levels. I think the top test that I had was like 890 something, and I just felt fucking
pretty high.
Yeah, I felt fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's
Did you ever have like mood swings? Like
No.
Okay.
No, dude, I never. That's what I was gonna say. It was like I never had crazy side effects. Like I didn't have any acne. Never had mood swings. I didn't like have crazy. Like I know a lot. Like, if you take a lot of it, especially like with Tren or. I think sometimes when guys take Dex or whatever it's called, they have like really bad rage issues or anxiety issues. I never had that. Never had any issues with my dick, so that was great. Like, if anything, it fucking worked better. Like it did.
Well, so testosterone, like when you're just injecting test alone, that's a natural occurring thing,
Right.
So like it's pretty much benign, as far as I know, because it's just like a natural occurring thing. But the only thing that it does is it shuts down the systems that start producing it on its own.
Yes.
Right. So your pituitary gland and all that shit kind of gets shut down. That's what scares me. You know what I mean about doing anything. But I think that when you start going into like the stuff that is like pure anabolic steroids, not just testosterone, test is just a hormone, but all the other ones are like actual anabolic steroids and a lot more powerful than test. That's where it gets like. That's where you're like looking at like the rage issues and all that kind of shit. I would assume.
Yes,
but
that's also
what I've heard, and then especially with Tren, I've heard that's like the one that really fucking amps you up like almost immediately.
Yeah, it kills your system, and those are the people that are taking the like gigantic doses too. You know what I mean? And they're like fucking Garrett, dude. Like his test levels when he was still on it, his test levels were at like 5,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, like he was
ridiculous.
Up there.
So what about the like the difference in strength? Like when you were on it, was it crazy?
Well, you know what's funny? Honestly, like I had like my strength and also my training and my diet has fucking. Do you really throw in smooth?
Yeah,
buddy.
I don't like the flavor.
You don't like the flavors at all?
It's disgusting.
For real?
It fucks with me, dude.
Damn. See, that's how I am with chew.
Yeah.
Like I like straight. I've been chewing a little bit recently because I've been on the road.
Uh-oh.
And
Gross.
I've missed it. Oh, I've missed it. I've been like, because I'll get like sick if I do it too much. So I only just do Copenhagen. But I've been staying away from like they don't call it Red Man anymore, like the long leaf tobacco.
Yeah.
Because that's stuff I could throw in and have it in all day. Like I could just so yes, that's how I am. It's like with Copenhagen, I love the fucking like Copenhagen Black, or the Copenhagen Natural, where it's just a tobacco.
Yeah. Wintergreen, dude.
Dude,
Shit's nasty now, but back in the day, that was what I had.
I used to do Wintergreen Smooth. That shit was because Wintergreen was a bit too powerful for me, but the Smooth was just.
I can't even smell the shit anymore, dude.
It makes you sick?
Disgusting, dude. I'm like, I don't even know how I did that, you know? It's gnarly. It is. It's fucking gnarly.
She's
Before
like,
I met her.
Yeah, she's like, never do it again.
Yeah.
Well, because then I got on the Zins to stop fucking chewing. Now I do this more than I have ever chewed.
Well, they're dangerous because there's not like side effects like there is with chewing. Like with chewing, like your lip would get like, you know, kind of fucked up if you did it too much or whatever. Smoking is like the same. You can feel like your throat burning in the morning or whatever, your lungs. But with these, I feel like they're pretty much side effect free.
The only
And that's
For now.
dangerous because, you just pop them in. Well, like immediate side effects, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the biggest side effect is just addiction. I mean, just addiction to the chemical. Like somebody actually did a test. I was watching it where they, it was some like fucking doctor YouTube channel where they cut open a little Zen pouch and they put it under a microscope and they tested for its actual contents, and it was like 98.3% nicotine and then like point whatever percent salt, and then if you had a flavored one, it was point whatever percent flavoring. But apparently it is just straight nicotine.
Just nicotine.
The only thing I don't like about these is even if I'm not drinking, but especially when I'm drinking, if I have too much of these, and I might have 2 or 3 beers, but too much nicotine,
Hungover?
sick.
Oh.
No, sick in the moment. Like I've had 10 drinks, sick.
It's hit me like that before too. Like I have to take it out immediately or I'm going to throw up. But then other times I've put like 3 or 4 in like within
Just
30
like-
minutes. Yeah, like 2, and then I feel like they're not having an effect, so I take those out and put 2 fresh ones, and then there's like no
Sometimes they turn
effect.
on you. Yeah, but
Yeah.
other times it's like, no, these aren't even doing anything. I think the more you use it, like throughout the day, the less effect that it has. The
And it's
more
also
that
how
nicotine
much-
gets in your bloodstream and whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like how much also are you hydrated? What have you been eating that day?
Right.
That kind of thing. But about the strength thing, like I'm not as strong as I was at the time, obviously, 'cause, like also because my training has gone down and my diet has been like not shit, but it hasn't been consistently what it used to be. But the strongest I ever was when I was deployed, because all we were doing is we would just do our job, eat, sleep, go to the gym. And so like when I was, and we just had unlimited food out there. We had
I bet that was nice.
The food was fucking, I'm not gonna lie, the food was great. We were at a naval base. It wasn't a fucking army base. And the Navy feeds their people fucking amazing.
Nice.
Like I would make myself at least 4 times a week. I would make myself a Chick-fil-A buffalo sandwich out there, but it was like good. Like I'm sure the buns were like the regular processed one or whatever, but it was like the chicken was fresh. Buffalo sauce was fucking amazing. Cheese
Always.
was great. Yeah. And I would have like 4 of those a week, and then you had 3 meals a day, and then they had like this little side area open up where you could just consistently go in and make like tuna sandwiches or any kind of sandwich you wanted, or
Sounds
they had
amazing.
protein shakes. And yeah, it was, so out there, I mean, I wasn't like cut by any means, but I was just fucking like that. And my bench has always been weak, but that's when I finally got up to 225. My deadlift was like 405, and then it was 425 was my deadlift, and then my back squat was like up in, I think it was like 380 something, 4 something up there.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was just fucking, it was great.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then I came back during the pandemic. So,
Yeah.
but I will say that it was more consistent, like being on test. Like I didn't have to work as hard to get up to those numbers.
And you probably like recovered well.
Yeah.
Or faster.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Like I would wake up sore, but I wouldn't like be dying. Because again, like with the super low test that I have, like even right now, like I never really realized until a few years ago, like, but my buddies would never, like, they would be tired after the gym, but they could still like gym and then do the rest of their day. Me, like if I work out in the mornings, I'm done for the rest of the day. Like I just can't function at least until like 2 in the afternoon. I'm just fucking good. Like, yeah, I work out in the morning and I feel great for the rest of my day. My day starting. I can
No.
I need to eat and sleep and like just try to recover. Like basically go to bed.
Yeah.
To recover, but not on test.
Yeah.
Not on test. I go to the gym in the morning. Like, oh, this is what it feels like to be a normal human being.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that's what I do with 200 million.
Yeah.
Get my fucking shit together.
Yeah.
Before we get done, I want to talk about Superman.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking great was that
Yeah, I was
movie.
pumped up.
That
on
was
it,
it was so good.
Yeah.
I've never been into Superman and it was amazing. I want to go watch it again.
Yeah, it was a good return to like fucking like just actual Superman, and I mean not actual. I mean I guess the Snyder Superman was more like godlike, right? And like was struggling with trying to be like a human, and like he was obviously put on that like pedestal in that way where he's like I'm a god, you know what I mean? And like that, it makes sense, and I like it, the darker take, but the actual like human version of Superman where he's like protecting the kid, you know what I mean? Like that one scene where he grabs a girl and like protects her from, that's like that's Superman, you know? And then like the kid in Palestine, right?
Yeah,
putting up the
basically.
the kid in Palestine putting up like the Superman flag, like that's Superman, you know?
I was watching that movie, and when they finally go in to like basically save Gaza from Israel, and Hot Girl grabs Netanyahu and kills him, I turned to my chick like, "Yo, he just killed Netanyahu." What is going on?
Right? Yeah. It's crazy, dude. Like immediately when they started showing those scenes, it's like, oh, okay, fucking Israel and Palestine.
Like,
all right,
clearly.
you know? Right, yeah.
And I don't know,
which
like
apparently it was. I mean, it was done before that or it was written before that shit happened. But,
but I mean that
before
conflict,
the newest conflict happened. You know what I mean? Like
well, that movie definitely wasn't written before October 7th. I don't buy that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I don't buy that, but I don't think. But I see what you're saying, and like for me, one of the quickest way to my heart is superheroes saving children. That is one of the quickest ways. Yeah, and then you add Superman on top of that.
Yeah.
And then you add like, I mean, the score was amazing. Yeah. That movie, I love the music.
Yeah.
And that moment in the movie where all the kids raise the flag.
Yeah.
Like, Superman. And I'm like,
dog.
They got you.
Sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was sick.
Oh yeah. And then like at the end, and I will say the one thing I did not like about the movie was that they changed his parents. Like his parents being evil. They basically changed his parents into General Zod. And I hated that.
Yeah.
Because that goes, like, I haven't read it, but I guess there was a Superman run in the 80s by John Byrne where his parents were like that. But he also changed a few things. I guess the guy was very, like, hyper-nationalistic where he, like, in that version of Superman, he didn't get sent to Earth as a baby. Like he was technically like a fully grown. Like imagine like a baby in its ninth month, and
like a fetus.
Yeah, he was like a fetus, like a fully grown fetus, and the ship that he got sent in was basically keeping him alive.
Okay.
But he technically wasn't born until the ship opened in America to make it, because the author wanted to make him like a born American to like not make him an immigrant and to, like whatever. But so I guess like the evil parents pull from that story, and I don't like that because his parents are supposed to be, I mean I guess in the Kryptonian society they're supposed to be like the heretics, like the zealots that are like going against the scientific council and going against the military regime there, it's like, and against the government that's basically milking Krypton of their resources and turning it, what made it actually explode, you know? But making them like, we're going to send you to Earth to like take over and have a bunch of wives and spread your seeds so that you can like rule over them. Like, I hated that.
Yeah.
And I get why they did it. And the emotional payoff at the end was great.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's laying
like,
on
these are my actual parents, the ones that raised me. Right?
When he's
like,
laying on the table,
yeah.
he's like, you play the video with his parents, it soothes him.
Yeah.
and like, it's like in the beginning of the movie, and I didn't like this much either, but where they're like shining, they have like the magnifying glasses for the Earth's sun, and it's like you hear the bones resetting, and it's like hurting him.
Yeah.
I didn't like that very much.
I'm not gonna lie. When we saw that first scene, I like looked at her. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like that first scene, like I was like, dude, I don't know. It kind of turned me off. But the entire movie was fucking great after that. I was like, oh, this is
because then at the end of the movie, when that yellow sun is hitting him, he's like taking it perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And then, it's playing the childhood on the Kent farm, and that fucking song is playing. I was like,
Iggy Pop.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, it was great, dude.
That song's a banger.
I was stoked that they did a good job. Green Lantern was fucked up though. I don't know what.
I loved it. Dude, he was that was the perfect Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
Like I have. Do you ever watch Justice League Unlimited? Okay, if you want to.
I've seen it.
Okay,
yeah.
If you want to get more from Guy Gardner, watch that, because he's I'm trying to think as if he was anything else like animated of like where it really put him in the forefront. But there's a few episodes where he's like at the forefront in that show, and he's a lot of fun. He's like the asshole, obviously, Green Lantern. That it's debatable whether or not he should even have a ring in the first place. But I think he has it because the Guardians or the ring picked him because the Green Lanterns are picked based off of willpower.
Yeah.
And his stubbornness is so like strong and heavy that like he just won't quit. He's like the Terminator, like he just will not quit. And so that's what got him the ring. But no, that's exactly how he is in the comics. That's how he is in Justice League Unlimited. Like that was, and then like him, Mr. Terrific was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I do wish Lex Luthor was a bit more menacing. Like he was like a D1 hater.
Dude, great hater.
Hater. Yeah. But and there were a few scenes or moments at the end where they're about to close the rift and Superman breaks into the thing and like Superman's like has his arms crossed and it just zooms in on Luthor and he's finally like getting angry. It's like, okay, like that's the Lex Luthor. But like the monologuing and like the exposition dumps towards the beginning of the movie, that kind of threw me off. I was like, just show, don't tell. Right. I mean, show that he's menacing, show that he's in control. Don't have him lash out. But then there are other parts that they got it perfectly right, where they just fucking killed the guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's Lex Luthor. Yeah. He would do that. And then he would have, at least today, I love that he had a pocket dimension, that he was smart enough to make a pocket dimension that held prisoners from people around the world, and people were paying him to. That would totally happen.
Yeah. I like the social media monkeys.
Yes.
I love that.
And that's actually in the comics.
That's dead internet theory right there, dude. I fucking, like just...
Like fake haters.
Like they obviously changed it for today to have a bunch of like Twitter and Reddit people.
Yeah.
But in the Silver Age, comics, Lex Luthor had an army of monkeys that were strapped up to computers to like help run the back end of his company. So I fucking love that James Gunn like did his homework and then brought that in. I thought that was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
that was cool.
It's cool. Do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna have a crossover with the Pattinson?
I hope not.
No,
I hope not.
Because I was thinking that duo would be fucking great, dude. Like with how brooding Batman is, and then how like I don't know. I guess like childlike the Superman is. So
you are correct about that.
Yeah.
Like that is the tone that they need. The
dynamic would be perfect.
Yeah, that's the tone they need to have.
Yeah.
My issue with specifically bringing in Pattinson is, well, they've already said that the Batman Brave and the Bold movie that they're doing is going to have a Batman that has all four Robins. So that has to mean that Dick is already Nightwing, and he's in his mid to late 20s. That means Jason Todd has already been killed and he's become the Red Hood. That means Tim Drake has had some experience as Red Robin, but he kind of flips back and forth, depending on just who's writing the story, whether he's Red Robin or just regular Robin. And then that means that Damian he has to have been Robin for at least a year, maybe two.
Because Damian's his actual son. Right?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know how they're going to bring Damian into it, because the actual backstory of how Damian is in the comics is that Bruce Wayne gets raped by Talia al Ghul, and she steals his seed, and it's very Grant Morrison. Yeah. If you ever read any of his stuff, it's Grant Morrison. Yeah. Talia drugs him, fucks him, takes his seed, brings it back to the League of Assassins, and they grow Damian Wayne in a test tube. And they like mold him to be the perfect soldier that's supposed to be leading.
Because he's like pretty lethal, right? Like goes against like Batman tries to like coach him to not be a fucking savage, pretty much. We're not killing people over here, dude.
Well, if you like, it's still for me, it's the best Damian Wayne story. It's the story of his origin and the story of when they kill him in the comics. Those are his two best stories, in my opinion. But you can buy it as a trade. It's called Batman and Son. It's really good. And like, there's a part where they bring him into the house, and like Batman has to scream at him because he's being an asshole to Alfred. He's trying to be an asshole to Batman, but Damian is unsupervised for like 10 minutes. He breaks out of the mansion. He starts going around Gotham trying to kill criminals, and he comes back to the Batcave, and he has a severed head with a grenade in it. And he's like, I just killed off this whole crime family. Why were they still alive? And Batman's like, we don't fucking kill people. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So I'm curious how they're going to do that. But because you have a Batman that has 4 Robins, your Batman needs to be older.
Yeah.
He can't be a year 2 Batman.
Right.
And then you would kind of undercut the story that you're starting with Robert Pattinson by doing like a time jump from year 2 to like year 15.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big things that I really liked about the new Batman is that it felt like he was the Gotham detective, right?
Yes.
Like, he's not fighting fucking aliens and, like, going, like, so that's one thing that would I don't know, be tough. And that's one thing that I didn't like about Batman, Superman movie, and in general, Justice League, all that stuff. I just hate stories where Batman is not, like, just the world's greatest detective. You know what I mean? And he's doing, like, otherworldly shit. You know what I mean?
See,
like,
and I want a Batman that, this is a hot take, and I get that. But I think, as good as those movies are, I think the Christopher Nolan trilogy has done damn near irreparable damage to the Batman canon, or the Batman portrayal in movies.
Why is that?
Because those movies showed a Batman that's hyper realistic, very dark. It's like, what if Batman was in our own world? Which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, some of Batman's best stories are just detective stories.
Yeah.
Like Batman Year One, like the whole War Games saga, I really enjoy. There's
Long Halloween.
Long Halloween, Dark Victory, The Cult. Like, these are all detective stories.
Yeah.
However, I fucking love Final Crisis, where Darkseid comes to town. I love Crisis on Infinite Earths. Even the New 52 stuff, where they retell the origin of the Justice League, and Batman and the Justice League have to fight fucking Darkseid again. Or, like, Crisis on Two Earths, where the crime syndicate shows up. Like, I want to see Batman fight Darkseid. Like, because Batman's the only character that's ever been able to dodge the Omega beams. I want to see that. You know what I mean? Now, granted, he does end up getting fucking fried by the Omega beams, and there's this legendary panel where Superman is holding Batman's dead body, and it's just a skeleton because the Omega beams fried him. I want to see that. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say that the Christopher Nolan movies have done some, like, irreparable damage to the portrayal of Batman is because how successful and well made those movies were. That's unless, and I think if James Gunn doesn't do it, I don't think anybody's going to, because at the end of the day, you have to get things approved by the studio, and James Gunn is the studio now. Like, yes, he has to answer to, like, the higher up guy at WB, David Zaslav, but he basically has carte blanche with the entire DC universe. And everyone is going forward is going to look at the Nolan trilogy as a template of how to do Batman, and Batman isn't just the hyper realistic. Well, Batman itself isn't hyper realistic. He's a fucked up billionaire that dresses up in leather.
No, of course not. I mean, none of these stories, like, none of them are hyper realistic. But it's.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
There's an entire plethora of the Batman canon that hasn't been touched yet, because I feel like studios and filmmakers are, since the Nolan movies have come out, they're scared to get away from the, like, boots on the ground.
I mean, that's how all the movies were, you know? Like Batman and Batman Returns, the Tim Burton ones, like, those are pretty much the same, just detective work and small, like, Gotham City,
Yeah, but back then they weren't worried about cinematic universes. They weren't worried about, they were like, let's just see if the one movie does well.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because obviously, like, at that point we had, because Batman, the first one came out in 89, the second one's in 92. So, like, they had done, Jack Kirby had already made, like, the Fourth World stuff, but they'd already done Crisis on Infinite Earths. Final Crisis in the 2000s, that hadn't happened yet. They had done crazy shit in the comics, obviously, but they weren't concerned with building up.
Yeah,
they were
world building.
Can we make a movie? And then if that one gets a sequel, it's if we can do a trilogy, that's like, how many trilogies outside? Does Arnold have any trilogies outside of the Terminator? Like, trilogies weren't really a thing when you center it around a character. Like, you only really had, like, Alien,
Rocky. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the sequential movies back then were really just subjected to horror movies, because you could swap out, like, the main characters weren't the protagonists. The main characters was Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Leatherface. You just had to swap out the protagonists, which are just cannon fodder to watch the killer take them out.
Yeah.
So now that they're so focused on cinematic universes, you can build up, like, you can build up to these things. And it would take a long time, I think, for the Pattinson Batman, and this is the advantage that comic books have over movies, obviously. The jump from Pattinson taking on the Riddler to something like Darkseid, that cavern is so wide, you know. But if you bring in a new Batman to this universe,
already established,
exactly, he's an established Batman. Metahumans have been around for 300 years.
Yeah,
maybe he's dealt with an alien or two, you know. Then it's more believable, I guess. And then also, I honestly, dude, I want a jacked Batman again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's another thing with Superman. I'm like, if you're going to have one superhero be jacked, it's got to be Superman, right?
Yeah. And
Superman, Wolverine, like, those dudes need to be jacked. You know, Batman makes sense that he's, like, a leaner, like, you know, a fighter. You know what I mean? More of, like, a fighter build, you know?
But even then, he's still fucking huge. He's, like, 6'2", pushing, like, 240.
In the comics, he, like, rivals Superman. He's, like, the same size and build as Superman. You know, just human.
Right.
You know, but...
I want to...
I agree, but...
I want to see Alan Richardson as Batman.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Are you kidding?
Reacher is fucking dope, dude.
Yeah. I've only seen a few episodes of Reacher, but just that fucking... Thad Castle, bro.
Yeah. Party at the Goat House. Yeah. That's my theory, is that Thad Castle joined the fucking military or something and became Reacher. Just cleaned his life up after Blue Mountain State.
But yeah, that's the version of Batman that I want to see.
Yeah.
You know, someone that can be alongside aliens and gods and do all that. And what I like about this version of Superman is they're doing it the natural way, where it's like he's a man first and he ascends to godhood. But then on the other hand, like, I literally, before the show last night, I rewatched the flight scene from Man of Steel. There is nothing like that in Superman.
Yeah.
Like, just, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
you know what's weird that me and Jayme were also talking about was, like, the CGI was better, like, 10 years ago, I feel like. Like, why does Man of Steel looked better, like, visually, I thought, you know what I mean? I mean, and not like the dark tone, like or the film that it had.
No, the CG of it.
But the CGI of it looked better. For some, I don't know why,
so
but
the
like
practical
movies 10 years ago.
Yeah, so the practical reason for that, like a big example people always bring up is Davy Jones in the second Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. His CG is incredible.
It's insane.
Right?
It's insane.
And COVID really sped this up. But with Marvel expanding and then exploding the way it did, and they were just churning out movies. And even back then, like pre-2019, pre-Endgame, they were doing like 2 or 3 movies a year, last couple of years, right? What ended up happening was they needed to, because there's only so many special effects houses or special effects companies that work on these movies, right? I think there's only like 15 of them or something like that. 15, there's not a ton. And when there's all these CGI heavy movies that are coming out that require because they're going frame by frame by frame, painstaking hours and hours of work. Like there's, like before COVID, there were stories about how they were, they would sleep at their offices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would just sleep at their offices, stay away for days from their homes, and just like work on these movies for hours and hours on end. And so when all these projects are getting funneled into, like, you have like this giant, monster of a thing getting funneled into a like very, very narrow diffusing area of people that can work on this, they don't get everything done in time.
Yeah. And
they kind of just like do what they can, and then the studios, they have to hit a certain day that this movie's going to come out so they can appease the shareholders. So like, hey, this $250 million investment that we just did, it's going to be out by then, and we project to make this amount of money by this time, this amount of money by this time. It'll be on our streamers by this time. So they have this timetable that they have to be on. So it forces all the VFX houses to like really fucking, you have to get it out. So then like a great example of that was fucking Justice League, when Joss Whedon took over, where it was like, I think he took over in like late June of 2017. The movie had to come out by November. So what is that, like 5 months, something like that? And they had to basically reshoot the whole movie. I mean, we know that now, right? So they reshoot the whole movie and then have to do VFX on top of that. And then you have the Henry Cavill mustache issues. So you have to fucking get rid of that. That's why he has that monster face. So that's a perfect example of and Warner Brothers was going through another shift in leadership at the time with Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich. Yeah, Toby Emmerich. And so they knew that their heads were probably on the chopping block for the coming fiscal year, and that was going to change over. So they needed to get that movie out by November so that they would get their bonuses before they got fired.
Shitty.
Yeah.
Just the storm of fucking
So when you have these guys at the top of the studio forcing those things like that on everybody else, and they are the money-making or the money decision guys, you can't really do a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking too much work and not enough people.
Not enough people, and they're underpaid, so you have like a lot of people quitting. And then this is an issue in the video game industry too, where like if these properties don't make enough money, or if they're not critically like accepted or critically acclaimed, well, the people responsible for it. So like in this case, it's the VFX houses. In the video game industry, it's the video game publishers, the video game developers. They get closed down. Like, I forget what game it was, but a big AAA game just came out that just got dog washed. Like, everyone hated it, piece of shit game. The developing studio just closed down.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, can't do it anymore. Another good example was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, right? That game fucking sucks. I played through all of it, and they killed Kevin Conroy's Batman. Like, it sucks. Horrible game. Half of Rocksteady got fired over that, and then the WB studio that was controlling because of how much money they lost on that game, the WB studio that was going to make the solo Wonder Woman game, that studio got killed because of the decline of the other game.
I mean, it just like the interest for stuff like that. Like, do you think that there's like fatigue from all the Marvel shit, and because I thought maybe Superman wouldn't do well because like for me. Like for us, like I know, like I still want to go see movies and like superhero movies, shit like that. Like it's still interesting to me, but like I'm like I don't want to see anything Marvel puts out probably ever again. I've been burned too many times. Like unless it's like a Spider-Man movie, like I'm probably not gonna go see.
My counter question.
Thor was horrible.
Thor was.
Captain America was
How
bad.
are you going to ruin Christian Bale?
Yeah. Dude, and Gore and the God Butcher, that story, how do you fuck that up? You know what I mean? Like,
I haven't read all of it, but I have it in like big format out there. And dude, he's a badass
God
villain.
Butcher is fucking sick, dude.
Yes.
And the way that they fucked that up, and they had Christian Bale, and I was telling her, I was like, this is like the sickest story. Like, this is so good. It's like a fucking like, it's just a great story, like storytelling wise. And and they had Christian Bale to play Gore. It's like, this is going to be great. And I was telling her, I was hyping it up. This is going to be so good.
So, like,
and we fucking went and saw it, and I was like, dude, this is...
Can it get any better than this?
It was hard to sit through. It was hard to even watch, you know what I mean? I was like, I kind of want to leave,
So my counter question to you would be, are you done with Marvel strictly because of the content or because of the time and money that you're spending on the content?
Just because of the content.
Really?
Yeah.
So the money,
like
the money factor has no.
No, I'll go see a movie. Like we're pretty frequent moviegoers. We go to the movies. I'd say probably more than the average person. Like more than anyone that I know.
Okay.
I do miss the old movie experience though, where you'd walk into a theater and it'd be full. Now it's like there's maybe 2 rows of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even when we went to see
the experience.
Superman, there was not a lot of people.
And
it was opening weekend.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of people.
There is nothing that will compare to Infinity War and Endgame on opening. Endgame on opening weekend was a religious experience.
Dude, like I think I went to go see Infinity War like 2 or 3 weeks after it even came out, and it was fucking packed. Yeah, and everyone was fucking reacting. It was great. You know what I mean? And that's how I remember a lot of the Marvel movies being anyway.
Because they were
during that phase 1, 2, whatever it was. But
even like horror movies too. Like I remember being in the theater when I watched the first Strangers movie, and like
you saw it in theaters?
Yeah, there was like a specific scene where the guy in like the flower bag, he he's like standing behind the main character in the house, but she doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
And I just remember this guy in the audience being like, son of a, and the whole theater just like broke out laughing. So it was like a moment of like, comedic relief, but it was like an entire experience.
I can't.
It's dead, man. I feel like that.
I watch that movie at least once or twice a year. I fucking love The Strangers. Like,
I know.
My favorite part of that movie is when they have him tied up, and she asks, "Why are you doing this?" And the leader of the group goes,
shit,
"Because you were home."
Yeah, that one haunted me. I was like,
I have a show tonight. I'll probably watch that when I get home. Like, I adore that because it's 90 minutes. And that's why I like horror. I will answer your question, but that's what I like about horror today. I think horror is getting back to what works. Low budget. You have it's the bare bones. Get the story out, get the characters out, get your cinematography and your lighting correct, and just make a movie. The story didn't have to be that great. Just make the atmosphere and the acting relatively viable, and you have a great horror movie. Yeah, Strangers is fucking crazy, and that's why I like going back now, like watching old. Like I watched this for the first time, like in the last year, The Last House on the Left. Have you seen that? Have you seen the original? Dude, you should watch that shit. It's a fucking heavy movie. It's a rape and revenge movie. It's a very heavy movie, but like Wes Craven's first movie, the definition of guerrilla filmmaking. I think they made it for $33,000. Like there's a disembowelment. So the disembowelment scene in the forest. They made the guts. They stuffed condoms with like raw meat and then covered it in syrup. And then they mixed syrup with like food dye. Yeah.
That's sick.
So it's like you have $33,000 and a crew and a dream. Let's make a movie.
Yeah, just be creative with it.
Just be creative with it. Yeah. And like I didn't enjoy Long Legs very much, but I appreciate what they tried. If you see Long Legs, it's worth a watch because I'm in the minority. Like a lot of people adore that movie. I didn't love it as much as everybody else did, but I appreciate what they were trying. And then the guy who directed it is the son of it's Osgood Perkins. He's the son of Anthony Perkins from Psycho. So he understands horror very well, and it's worth a watch. But I like that horror is coming back in that direction because there was that period of time where it was like the bigger budget horror movies, and like the Conjuring movies are great, but the spin-offs.
I was thinking The Conjuring as well, Conjuring, Insidious, those types of movies.
Though the last Insidious fucking sucked.
I think anything after the second, everything after.
I love all of them.
You like The Red Door?
I love The Red Door.
That movie sucked.
Thank you.
The Last Key.
Thank you.
The Last Key.
Thank you.
Or the last, fucking horrible, dude.
Another one that was like hard to watch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, I don't even want to watch this. Like,
it's terrible.
No, I love, and this one's
I'm
not
glad
necessarily.
that you enjoyed it. Like I just want to be clear when I'm critical of things, it's coming from a place of I want to enjoy things.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
I want to enjoy more things than I do.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
And I like the Insidious, like the astral projection and all that kind of. I love that idea.
Just because the CIA confirmed that it's real and they're actually experimenting on us since the 50s.
I astral projected once, dude. I have bad sleep paralysis, and I fucking one time astral projected into my wall. Sounds crazy. But I woke up and I saw my body. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go I jumped into the wall and started skating. I was skating this massive half pipe, and I was controlling my fucking dream. I was lucid dreaming because I have really bad sleep paralysis. And I watched this video. It was like a rapper, and he said that he's like, it's a gift because that's actually the first step to astral projection. I was like, all right. And after that, I did that
Bring
one
that mic
time.
a little closer.
Never had it. I've never had sleep paralysis again since then.
What?
But I did it one time, and I one time I did it, and now I've never had it sleep paralysis again. So
the other night he astral projected and ate the rest of the bread in the pantry.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you eating bread right now?
I eat toast every morning, yeah. That's like my one carb.
What kind of bread is it?
And oatmeal.
Dave's Killer Bread.
Yeah,
That shit's awesome.
That's good shit.
That's
honestly,
too, yeah.
I just it's become a weird thing where I'm like, I've paid attention and noticed the foods that help me go to the bathroom. That bread has a lot of fiber in it. That's literally the only reason. Obviously, it tastes good, but but yeah, not a horror movie per se, but talking about budget. I know a lot of people hate the Lost Boys movie, and I love that movie. And I remember hearing like it was some podcast talking about like how the budget was so low that to show like the vampires, like instead of showing them flying in the air, it was like the perspective of it was like they changed the perspective so that it was like the perspective of like the vampire flying. So it didn't show them in the air, it just showed them as if you were like them flying.
I've only seen that movie once. Is there no flying scene for real?
No,
it's all
it
like
doesn't show them in the air
it's
ever.
all like POV.
It is POV, isn't
Yeah,
it?
point of view. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And like that was always like something that made it kind of like scary to me, but I never realized it was a budget thing.
Well, I mean that's one of the beautiful parts about Carpenter's Halloween is they made that for I think $400,000 shoestring budget, not a lot of money to be able to do it.
That's a lot more money than I would think for that movie. You know what I mean?
I think
I think they did the same thing, right? Where there was like a point of view of Michael Myers walking around.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Oh yeah, I think
they just
so.
got the William Shatner mask and painted it.
Let me see.
Added hair to it. Did you know
Yeah, that mask got so fucked up over the years.
Well, I'm sorry. So it was I'm sorry. The budget was $300,000 to $325,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so what happened with the mask? Why it got fucked up over the years? So, and it's funny that POV shot you were talking about, and especially in the beginning when it's young Michael.
Yeah.
That's Deborah Hill, one of the writers and producers of the movie. That's her hand that's doing the stabbing, and then it's funny as the face, like the POV is moving around a corner, you can actually see in the shadow, you can see the fucking camera. Look at that shoestring budget, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I think that was Carpenter's second movie. He did Assault on Precinct 13 and then Halloween, which is insane. Yeah. But anyway, so what happened was they had written that movie and they made it, and they didn't plan on making a sequel. So in the time between because Deborah Hill and John Carpenter at the time, I don't know if they were married, but they were together. And then a couple months after the movie, they started fighting a lot. And then I think they broke up for a time or whatever. So they were never planning on making a sequel at all. So in the time between the movie getting released and then the sequel happening, Deborah Hill kept the original Michael Myers mask under her bed. So it collected a lot of dust, and she was a heavy smoker. So when they were like, hey, we need to do a sequel, find that fucking mask, and she pulls it out from under her bed, it was yellowed and it was stretched and it was like heavy dust and smoke damage. And
oh my god.
Yeah, well, you got to think back then, it really wasn't, especially in 1978, 1979, horror sequels weren't really a thing. It was like all the one-offs.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So they weren't really planning on making this fucking monster of a series out of the films. So that's why, like, when you watch Halloween 2, the mask is really stretched out, and it looks kind of fucked up. And then just, I don't know what they were thinking through a lot of those sequels with those masks, like especially in like H2O. Like, it's grown on me, but it's not great. Halloween Resurrection's mask is just terrible with the super big eyes, where you see like the skin under it, and
I just think everything that's not the original is pretty
I like the 2018 one.
No, that one is good.
I think that Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends fucking sucks.
What about the Rob Zombie?
I liked the Rob Zombie one.
So
that's what I remember.
I enjoy those movies. Have aged well, in my opinion. I think they've aged well. I think the Rob Zombie Halloween, the first one that he did, is probably the best horror reboot or remake. I think, if not the best, it's in the top 3 for sure. I prefer the unrated version, like the director's cut. I do have to skip past the rape scene, though.
Yeah, that one's hard.
It's unnecessary. And I prefer the scene in the R-rated version, because in the R-rated version, Michael just beats the fuck and kills all the security guards and breaks out. In the unrated version, I don't know why Rob Zombie does this, but there has to be a gratuitous rape scene in, I think, all of his movies except for like House of a Thousand Corpses, where the security guards bring the patient into Michael's room, and while they're raping the patient, he kills them and breaks out. It's like, why? You know what I mean? It's like, why? So I have to skip past that. But everything else in that movie, I think, is great. I like the idea of, because again, it's not like, it's like how in comic books, like the Elseworld stories, it's like an Elseworld Michael Myers. Like, what if Michael Myers was just a fucking tank? Like, what if he was just truly this unstoppable giant muscle of a guy. And I think it's an interesting way to do it. I think Halloween 2 is more in that direction. And Rob Zombie himself has said that the white horse, you've seen the second one, right? Where he said like the white horse means nothing. And the white place that Laurie ends up at the end, like the afterlife or whatever, means nothing. And he really made that movie to go as buck wild and to go as crazy and as a big fuck you to the studio as he could because of all the issues that he had with the Weinsteins making the first movie. Like, I see that movie the same way that I see The Dark Knight Strikes Again, if you've ever read that from Frank Miller.
Yeah.
He specifically, and he said this in interviews, he wrote The Dark Knight Returns, huge, massive, basically saves the Batman canon at that time, rejuvenates Batman in the comics, and then he leaves DC to go do the same thing for Daredevil over in Marvel when he writes Born Again and does his whole Daredevil run with them. And DC was like, hey, wait a minute, bud, this made us a lot of money. You just saved our company. You're writing a fucking sequel. Whether you like it or not, you're writing a fucking sequel. And he was like, okay, but it's going to be the worst comic ever made. And he writes The Dark Knight Strikes Again, and it's horrible.
Is that what happened with the Joker movie?
I think so.
Yeah,
Personally, because that movie is like, it's almost intentionally bad.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even watch it.
Dude,
I watched it.
It's
you
horrible.
did watch it?
Yeah.
I gotta take a piss.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was not what I expected.
It's on command strips. You can just tear it off. Yeah. Yeah, no, with Joker 2, and I'm a fan of Lady Gaga. Like,
So am I.
I like her in A Star Is Born.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a huge fan of her in American Horror Story, but I'm also just not a fan of that show.
What?
I like the first 2 seasons. And
Okay.
and after that, it just kind of fell off for me. I couldn't do it.
You don't like her as a vampire seductress?
I see.
type?
I didn't even remember that she was that character because it was Hotel, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was. Yeah.
It didn't grip me. Like the circus one was interesting to me, but it became apparent to me that show had a target audience, and it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, there's a lot of people that love this. I'm not about it. I love Murder House. I love us. I think Asylum is one of the greatest seasons of television, period. I adore that, where it's like the fucked up mental house that turns into like aliens. I love that. I loved it. Couldn't get on board with it. But yeah, Joker too. She is a disservice to that movie. Like, I hated watching her. I wanted her to get shot. Like, I just wanted the best part of that movie was Tim Dillon.
Yeah, and I think, like, especially after she did A Star Is Born, where you saw her mix her acting with her
musical ability.
Well, yeah, you're like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then
Horrible. Yeah, A Star Is Born made me fucking cry.
Oh, yeah.
That movie, fucking. Because I remember watching it for the first time, and there's a shot in the very beginning where Bradley Cooper's in the limousine. He's all fucked up. And there's like a up shot, and he passes a billboard that has a bunch of nooses on it.
Oh, yeah, it's like a
and I was like,
foreshadowing.
I was like, he's going to kill himself.
I don't notice things like that.
Oh, no, he's going to kill himself. And then,
Oh, yeah.
Great movie. But anyway, to circle back to your question about superhero fatigue, I think superhero fatigue is just it's not a lazy term, but it's an easy term to assign to what's going on right now, because a lot of people, as the build up to Infinity War is happening, we're saying like, yeah, but once this caps off, superhero movies are going to go the way of the Western movie, where you don't see a whole lot of them anymore, and when you do, they're small indie movies, and they were a huge part of Americana, gave us the iconography that we have now, but, it went away. And Westerns did go away. I can't really tell you why. Like, I adore Westerns. I wish they would come back.
Right.
Like, a great modern one is Bone Tomahawk. Have you seen that? Dude, do you have Hulu? Tonight. No, like, legit. It's basically a really fucked up version of The Searchers from John Wayne. You've seen The Searchers, right? Bro. Have you seen The Searchers with John?
She hasn't even seen Tombstone, dude.
You haven't seen Tombstone?
I've seen
Have you?
Tombstone.
Maybe.
I'm pretty uncultured.
So The Searchers is like one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a product of its time, like so much so that John Wayne's character is a veteran of the Civil War.
Okay.
Like, that's how of its time this movie is, right? It's basically about a bunch of Indians in the area. It's still in the settling of America, and a bunch of Indians steal a white lady. So a bunch of cowboys got to pony up and go find the white lady. And it's of its time, but it's amazingly acted and written, and the score is amazing. The cinema, it's There was a time in John Wayne's career where he was just making these banger movies back to back with John Ford, and like a great comparison is like Scorsese and De Niro. Like that's the kind of pair it was, but back then.
Okay.
Phenomenal movie. But Bone Tomahawk is that premise amped up to 10, and it's with Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, who's the other main guy? It's an older dude. I forget his name, but lady gets taken by a band of savages. Like they're like these they're cannibals, but they're like super primitive, like bones in the nose and shit like that. And it's made on if that movie had more than 50 million put into it, I'd be surprised. Like, but it's all practical effects, barely any CG, and it's a beautifully gory movie. Like it's gory in like small spaces, and other than that, it's just tension building and story and learning why these characters are the way that tonight, dude. It's like 90 minutes. It's so good, so good. But people are saying that superhero movies would go the way of the Western and die off, but I don't think it's superhero fatigue, because like superheroes are like American mythology, in my opinion. You know what I mean? What the Greeks and the Romans had with their gods, we have Batman, Superman, Captain America, Wonder Woman, the Hulk, Wolverine. Like we have these, and I think why Americans and really the West, why we love these, they're like elevated versions of ourselves. It's like, oh, if I had the lottery, maybe I could be Batman. Maybe I could be Iron Man. If I got a privilege like Captain America and I got the super soldier serum, maybe I would be the best version of myself. I think when you watch these movies, either consciously or subconsciously, you imprint the best versions of yourself onto these characters, and you see them go through their trials and tribulations. If they can get out of it with that, you can fix your problems too. You know what I mean? They're meant to elevate. And so I think because of that at its core, when it's done properly, and maybe I'm giving audiences a little bit too much credit, but I really do think that subconsciously we imprint ourselves on these characters in that way. And then when it's done properly, it brings out that emotion in you. You know what I mean? Yep. And you can really, that's why like Stan Lee, one of his most famous quotes about Spider-Man is that we intentionally kept him completely covered in his suit, because the character of Peter Parker is, he said this, but in my opinion too, Peter Parker is the most relatable character in comics. He has money problems, he has girl problems, he has family problems. How's he going to pay his rent next week? He can't hold down a job. He's struggling with responsibilities in his life, aside from the Spider-Man thing. And then you put Spider-Man on top of that, and he has to choose his calling over his other responsibilities. And we kept him completely covered, because anybody could be under that mask. It doesn't matter if you're a black person, white person, Asian, Hispanic. You could be Spider-Man. You could be experiencing the issues that he's experiencing, but yet he still chooses to do the right thing. Yeah. Like, he's one of those characters where, like, he has every reason to be a villain. He has literally every reason that every father figure that he has had turns into an evil scientist that wants to kill him. One of those evil scientists killed his girlfriend. Yeah. He can't hold down. He's a nerdy guy that gets a supermodel. Yeah. Every nerd's dream, right? Gets the supermodel, but can't hold her down, but yet the supermodel sticks around. Yeah. He has all these problems where he could be a villain, which is why it's so interesting when he gets the black suit and the black suit's used properly. Anyway, so when it's done properly, you have these emotional reactions. But then when it's done improperly, and then you add subculture on top of that, where you put racial ideologies, gender ideologies, political ideologies, you superimpose them onto these characters in a way that these characters were never meant to bear that like bear the brunt of that, it shows.
Yeah.
And then they become unrelatable.
Well, they become unrelatable, but then they become, I think, a step further than that, which I don't understand why people still enjoy it in the way that they, like, with, like, She-Hulk, Ironheart, the Marvels, like, put the bad writing and just the horrible CGI, put the basics aside, like the girl boss issue, right? Like, I'm not a woman, I don't know the female experience, but, like, outside looking in, they're trying to turn women characters into men. And I think they're missing the point. I don't think you're supposed to be turning female characters in, like, in putting, again, superimposing male archetypes and male characteristics onto women characters. I think you're supposed to be heightening femininity and showing the best of that. That's why a character like Wonder Woman works so well. Like, yeah, Wonder Woman's tall and usually pretty toned and pretty jacked in the comics. Yeah. She's an Amazonian. But the best characteristics, like, and this is shown really well in, like, the George Perez run of Wonder Woman from the 80s, like, phenomenal run of Wonder Woman in the 80s. The Gail Simone Wonder Woman from the early 2000s, or, like, the New 52 stuff from Brian Azzarello. Like, the best parts of Wonder Woman in those comic books is the woman side. Right? Just like with the Iron Man or Spider-Man or Batman. Like, you're attracted to, like, the super, you know, superpowers, money, gadgets, whatever, but you stick around for the man or the woman part of the equation. It's the tenderness, it's the softness of Wonder Woman that sets her aside and shows her the best of what this female archetype could be, but then she'll also cut your head off. You know what I mean? She'll also beat the fuck out of you. And so when you have these subcultures of, like, again, like the girl boss issue, where, like, in, like, what turned me out of She-Hulk was that horrible. Did you guys watch She-Hulk?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah.
And I kind of didn't want to, just based on the trailer that I saw.
It's terrible.
I just wasn't interested.
So in the first or second episode, she has this monologue again where she's talking to Bruce Banner, where she's, like, telling him about how hard it is to be a woman, how she has to suppress her rage every day, and how she's held down by men, and how hard it is to be a woman, and how he has no idea, how Bruce Banner has no idea what it's like to deal with rage every day and have to function as a normal human being. Do we not see the issue with this? Especially when this is the version of the... And then I think the Hulk is done dirty throughout the entire MCU.
100%, dude.
But, like, this, even in the versions of this Hulk, I think the best version of him was in the Avengers. Well, I think Edward Norton did a good job. But, like, that line in the Avengers where he goes, yeah, I tried to shoot myself, but the other guy spit the bullet out. You're telling this guy he has no idea about rage issues? Or, like, I didn't even watch Ironheart, but I saw this scene out of Ironheart where she was like... Tony Stark is only Iron Man because he's a billionaire. Are we forgetting the entire first act of Iron Man, where because of his mind he was able to build that? Like, okay, like, yes, obviously, if he wasn't a billionaire, he couldn't, like, have the access to nanotechnology, or he couldn't have the access to all the. But the core.
What did he say? He built the suit in a cave.
Yeah,
It's a bunch of scraps.
Yeah, like look, I don't know how to work on cars. I'm a horrible car. I'm not a car guy. I have to go to a mechanic or my buddies that know how to work on cars. If you gave me the top of the line tools, like, I have to fix my power steering hose in my truck. I'm putting it off. I have to get it fixed. If you gave me all the tools in the world, maybe I'd be able to figure it out. But for an experienced mechanic, that's probably a 30-minute job. For me, days. If not weeks. And that's just me scrolling through a 5-minute YouTube video over and over again. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I think that they're putting culture onto these heroes and these stories and shoving it down people's throat in a way that it undercuts the message of what they're trying to get across in the first place. And it really just does it a disservice. And then from that problem, you then have poor writing. And then even with She-Hulk, like, where, like, she's fucking twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. Like, is that the height of your feminine character?
Well, I think
that she can twerk with a rapper.
The thing is, I think that they have culture wrong, because these stories are supposed to, you know, have the culture in it, right? Like, they're supposed to kind of reflect society in a way. And that's like
The
what
best
they,
society.
yeah, that's what they say with pro wrestling, right? It's supposed to reflect society, and like it always has. Like in the '80s, you had like the larger than life characters like Hulk Hogan, like fucking America, all that kind of stuff. And then in the '90s, it got super edgy because that's kind of how culture was
Right.
around that time, and it just kind of goes with reality or society. And like now, it's very reality based, right? Because it's society is like the curtain is pulled back on everything, and everyone can see stuff. So now that's what wrestling is reflecting. So it's the same thing with storytelling in any form. It should reflect culture, but I think that they have the idea that everyone wants those kinds of narratives. You know what I mean? Where okay, yeah, we have a female superhero who's twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, right? They think that's what the audience wants to see, you know?
Yeah.
Or they're trying to force us to be like, yeah, like we want to see this type of stuff. You know what I mean?
And I haven't seen Fantastic Four. I'm going to eventually.
See, I have literally no interest in
But what I've
watching.
heard-
I know, I've heard it's bad.
I've heard it's great.
Yeah, I've heard
Really?
I've heard that like
really
the
good.
core of the movie is the family dynamic, and it's that Reed Richards is the leader of the Fantastic Four, but Sue Storm is like not the leader of the family, but she helps keep the family dynamic together. She plays the motherly. I mean, she's pregnant throughout the movie with Franklin Richards, and honestly, I'm so fucking excited to see what they do with Franklin Richards. 'Cause I'm a fucking comic book dork, and he's so overpowered in the books that it's like fucking insane. Like he can literally like when he's a toddler, I think he's like 5 or 6 years old. I can't forget if it's Sue or Richard. They walk into his bedroom and he's sitting in his bed and he's creating a pocket universe. Like he's creating a brand new dimension in his hands. How powerful he is. I'm excited to see what they do with that. But they highlight Sue as the mother figure, and people are really praising that. It's like, well, how far has culture gone to where now one of the highlights of the movie is a traditional nuclear family? So we've gotten so far away from that.
What I'm saying is, I think like reflecting society now, I think we're getting back to those types of values,
Which is good.
But I think that that's what people want to see. We want to get like back to that. At least that's what I would like to see. But I personally think that the best Fantastic Four story has been told with The Incredibles. You know what I mean? Like it's just a fucking animated Disney movie, but that's literally the Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? That's exactly what that movie is,
And
just with different character
That
names.
is crazy though, because thinking about like Elastawoman's like ability, like there's a scene where she like pulls everybody together with her like her limbs, and like
Parachutes
that
them
kind of
down.
like plays into her like
As a
motherly role.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I love to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I hope it's true. Like I do want to see Fantastic Four eventually, but again with superhero fatigue, I just think people are tired of having culture shoved down their throat, and I just think they want good stories.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
and that's why comic books aren't dying, because like comics will go through phases, you know, now and again where like sales are low or whatever, but then they do stuff like fucking Absolute Batman, where Absolute Batman number one was the highest it's still the highest selling comic of the year.
I think that they just have a good core audience that are always gonna be loyal and, you know, always going to want to buy comics and read comics.
Well,
you know, it's the same with everything else.
You would think so, but then Spider-Man went through a weird phase, and I stopped reading it like 3 years ago, where, who was it? I think it was Daniel, it was, who the fuck was writing the book? I forget who was writing it, but just tanked the writing. It wasn't a real culture, they just didn't know how to write Spider-Man, tanked, and then they brought it back. It was doing really well, and then this new team immediately get into the book. They have him break up with Mary Jane, and he tells Mary Jane something like, "You always been more of a sister to me."
What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, or no, it was either he tells her you're more of a sister, or he tells her, or she tells him you're more of a brother, or something like that, and they ruin that relation. They just ruin the character. So. Well, it's not a culture issue; it's just a writing issue. Like I think, and then sales just fucking tanked on Spider-Man. But then, inversely, and you've told me that you've read it, you have the Ultimate Spider-Man with Jonathan Hickman, this guy who understands stories, and they're pulling a lot of it from his stories right now with the Fantastic Four and with Secret Wars they're doing right now. It's all Jonathan Hickman stuff, and he understands the characters, he understands how to build a universe. His Ultimate Spider-Man is just fucking skyrocket. I think it's the only story going on right now that has consistent, if not climbing, sales.
This is the one where he never gets bit by the radioactive spider, and then Tony Stark comes and tells him, like, hey, dude, there's this whole other universe. Is it Tony Stark?
Or no, this is the
I read the one. It's like a newer one. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's Ultimate Spider-Man, but he never became Spider-Man, and he's with Mary Jane. He has kids, and
Yes.
then an alternate. Someone, I don't know if it's Tony Stark, comes
Yes.
in and tells him, "Hey, dude, like you're supposed to be Spider-Man. Like,
Yes.
You went somewhere wrong in your life and like fucked up your timeline, but you're supposed to."
Yeah,
be
and Ben
this."
Parker is still alive, and he's working with Jonah. Yes, there's
Yeah.
the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah. It was super interesting. Like,
Yeah, it's
change
great.
up the fucking story, but the writing is it made me, like, I heard that there was a thing. I was like, oh, I want to check that out. I haven't read comics in years, you know?
Yeah.
And I, bought it and checked it out. It was good.
Because you're changing aspects of the character, but you still understand the core of it.
At the core, because he's like, and that's what he says. He's like, I feel a calling to do this. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do this, And, his life is great. And I'm
Yeah.
sure once he picks up the mantle of Spider-Man, his life is going to fucking
Right.
tank,
No,
right?
I'm
'Cause
fully
that's what-
expecting Mary Jane and the kid to die.
Yeah, of course.
At some point.
Yeah, it's gotta
Yeah.
happen. You know
But-
what I mean?
So yeah, I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I think it's just people want good content.
Yeah.
And I do think so. When Bob Iger left Disney in 2020 or 2019, and Bob Chapek came in. Bob Chapek comes in as the head of Disney and goes, "We are going to have Marvel content 24/7, whether it's in the theaters or on our streaming services. We're going to do that." And that takes away from the event side of when the Marvel movies used to come out. It was like 2 or 3 times a year at most. It's this big thing. Everyone goes and does it. This big cultural thing that happens. Because it's like, oh, it's the next Marvel movie. But then
Yeah.
for also the dedicated fans that are following the storylines, it's like, oh, how are they going to beat the next? How are we going to get to Thanos?
Yeah.
And then how are they going to overcome Thanos? And then they lost to Thanos. Like, how are we going to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So people just want good stories. And I think less is more, right? When you can just focus on the one project, make it big, make it great, and then move on to the next one.
It's just corporate greed, man.
Yeah.
And like all the sideshows and the streaming service stuff, and like that's way too much content to ask of a normal person to want to watch or consume. And,
Yeah,
like, you're
I
right.
got burnt out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll try to watch some of the shows, but then they're just bad, and I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot of
They
time.
put quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And it's just a story as old as time. You know what I mean? Like they realized how much fucking money they're making. And then
Yeah.
all the soul gets sucked out of it. And then they just fucking produce corporate garbage. that we're-
Schlock.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just supposed to like fucking love it no matter what, And
Especially if it's like 3 hours. Like, I don't want to spend 3 hours watching a shitty movie.
Or like 6, 8, 9 hours if it's a TV show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
And they expect you to know a lot when you watch those. They expect a lot out of their audience, I feel like.
Yeah.
With all the extra characters and shit like that. And I feel like the Avengers, like leading up to Infinity War and whatnot, they did have extra characters, but they were all kind of like...
But it was
It was a
woven together well.
core group of people that you kind of knew, like, Captain America, Iron Man. Like, everyone knows those characters, right?
Well, the interesting thing, though, was that Iron Man was like a B-level character before the movies.
Well, I always thought it was weird that like everyone's favorite superhero suddenly was Iron Man. Yeah, I was like, what?
Well,
It's crazy.
if Marvel had all the rights to their characters and they wanted to do a universe, they would have started with Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men.
Yeah.
Or at least Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine for sure.
And then the Hulk.
I feel like when I was a kid, Wolverine was like the fucking
dude.
man, dude.
Yeah.
Like
He was my
everyone
favorite.
loved Wolverine, dude.
Yeah.
And, like it maybe is because the X-Men movies were just coming out, but even so, like
Well, the
he's like one of the sickest characters.
Yeah, and the iconography of that guy. He's in a bright yellow and blue, sometimes brown suit with fucking claws, dude. And then
Yeah.
you throw him
Yeah.
against the Hulk?
Yeah.
Who's not going to love
yeah.
that?
Yeah, for sure.
And then Spider-Man is just eternal. You
Yeah.
know, he's always going to be there. And then Captain America
Yeah.
and then Fantastic Four has always been big in comics.
yeah.
I like the resentment that Wolverine has for being like...
Immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's the best. Yeah. It's the best. How bitter he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just... it's cool that they were able to elevate characters like, Iron Man and Thor and stuff like that. But, yeah, but then we start straying away from that, and then you start dismantling these characters in all the wrong ways, and it's just not good.
yeah.
And I mean, and then it's not any fault of the Marvel movies, obviously, but with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and it was like, what do you do with that character now?
Yeah.
Because personally, and again, hindsight's a bitch, but I think they should have just recasted Black Panther. instead of just trying to go the Shuri route and trying to figure that stuff out, I would have just either had an in-universe character become Black Panther or just recast the thing all together.
Yeah.
Because that could have been such a powerful character to use in the MCU, but now you just don't. And Chadwick was fucking great.
Yeah.
I loved him as Black Panther, but you can't just let that die.
Yeah.
You know, fucking bring Michael B. Jordan back. Let the
Killmonger.
or like the giant animal dude, M'Baku. Let him be black. Something. You know what I mean? You can't just let that go away. But
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I get wanting to, keep like his memory alive by being like, okay, well, he, making it part of the story that he had died. Because I mean, like that's a big ask of anyone to fill those shoes. I feel like, you know what I mean.
But like, how many times have we recasted Superman?
Yeah.
How many times do we have a new Batman?
And it's it's always like a fucking everyone always up in arms about who's the next fucking guy, right? Like with Pattinson, I know I was fucking pissed. I was like, come on, bro, are you serious? This fucking guy. Obviously, she loved it, but I was like, come on, man. But it turned out to be really good.
Yeah. I hate his suit though.
You don't like the suit?
I thought
it was sick.
I've never enjoyed an armored up Batman.
Yeah.
I enjoy the classic like
bare bones. You want like the gray and blue?
Dude, if I could
I feel like gray and blue would just not look good on screen.
If I could have the gray and blue Batman from the Neil Adams on screen, if I have 2 asks of James Gunn right now and he'll never see this, but I've tagged him enough. If I could have this version of Batman, let me find it. Yes. If I could have this version of Batman.
Yeah, it's sick. It looks good on like a comic book page, dude, but just in a movie.
If I could have
I don't know, man.
that, or if I could have, let me find it.
They should just bite the bullet and make a Batman Beyond, dude.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
They should just do that, man.
Or like this style of Batman.
Yeah.
If I could have that, a gray and black or a gray and blue, just lean into it. And I want the big symbol. I want a giant, oversized yellow utility belt. Is that too much to ask for?
But
I
why?
think so. I think so. I think it just wouldn't translate well, dude. I just don't. I don't think so.
At a bare minimum, at an absolute bare minimum, Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
But I want black underwear.
Yeah.
I do. I want the giant black.
This is what you're talking about with the Christian Bale or the Christopher Nolan ruining it, where it's like hyper realistic. But I mean, the Snyder Batman was kind of like he was gray.
Yeah, he was the gray and black. I wish he had trunks, but oh well.
Yeah.
But we still had the fat black Frank Miller symbol.
He looked fucking sick. As Batman, he looked fucking sick.
You see that in an alleyway?
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're not getting cracked today, dude.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
And then his fucking batarang is this big.
Yeah.
You catch this to the face,
yeah,
dude, you're fucking done.
Damn, that's sick.
How many times have you thrown that?
Never.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get that fucking Batman coming after you, dude. You're toast.
Yeah.
And I don't like the SWAT look of Batman, the super art. Because I will say, one of the worst parts of that movie, and I loved the Batman. I didn't like the Riddler. I mean, I know what they were going for. Wasn't a huge fan of it. But I
liked it. The fringe, like online, weird, like online persona. Like I thought it was good. Like just a legit terrorist, like incel. You know what I mean? Like it was great.
I like the idea. I didn't like it. Again, I just didn't like his suit. I didn't like the
one thing I did not like was "You're not my real dad, Alfred."
That he's being a dick to Alfred.
Yeah, like, come on, dude.
But the part in the Batman, like, it looks cool on screen. It looked cool, but where he's like walking down and they're just lighting him up with bullets and they're just bouncing off. Fuck off, dude. Yeah. First of all, it's not Batman.
Yeah,
Batman is not the Terminator.
Superman shit.
First of all, he's not this indestructible guy. He moves in the he's a ninja.
Yeah,
like he moves in the shadows and takes you guys out.
Yeah,
and that's what I think was a strength of Batman Begins, was like that dock scene.
Yeah,
where and I get what they were trying to go for, where it was like from the perspective of the criminals, of what it would look like if Batman's taking out all your buddies. But I liked that, but then Christopher Nolan, for how great he is at filmmaking, he has no idea how to film a fight scene. Like those fight scenes in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises is brutal.
With
him and Bane,
that first fight is cool, but then that fight in broad daylight.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's horrible, and he's just like fucking piecing up the pillar. Like Bane he's just so mad that he's piecing up the pillar, and then the one line he's like, "Oh, you came back to die with your city." He says, "I came back to stop you."
Stop.
Come on, man, it's a horrible line, dude. Like that's what you guys went with, man.
Where's the trigger?
Yeah.
You would just give it to it. Like
bad man.
Just,
dude,
he's like fucking Robert. He's like RFK. Just go like that. Just once. Just clear your throat. Just come on. So yeah, I don't know. I wish that they would when they make the sequel, have him have a regular suit, make him realize that hey, I can't take 9 mils and 40 cals to the fucking chest all day.
Right.
Make him fight from the shadows. Make him a ninja. Make like that first scene in BVS where you see Batman and he moves like a demon. That's great.
Yeah.
And he's just like up in the corner and like that's Batman, dude. Not fucking walking down a hallway just eating bullets all day.
Well, the first scene in Batman vs Superman where he gets picked up by the bats.
Yeah. I liked it.
Oh,
I liked it.
I remember when I watched it.
It's visual storytelling.
Come on, man. I remember watching that, just put a bad taste in my mouth.
But the warehouse scene? Come on.
Yeah.
That's the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Like translated perfectly.
Yeah.
Just flipping around and fucking stab. I mean, I don't love Batman stabbing a guy, but he fucking stabs I don't know, man. Then he's piecing up Superman.
Yeah.
That's great.
It is good. And the Dark Knight Returns, like, type of deal with his suit and everything, fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And I like that they made it to where it's a sustainment suit. Like, it doesn't enhance him as a human. It just makes him be able to take, like, punishment from a depowered Superman.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Fucking beats him over the head with a kitchen sink. Come on, man. That's just cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have high hopes. And I just hope that, again, I hope that James Gunn leans. If he does for Superman, or does to Batman what he did to Superman, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
We're in good hands. I left Superman feeling happy. And that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's exciting for sure.
But it's been just about a little under 3 hours.
Yeah, we got to get going.
This has been good.
Really?
Yeah. It's
That's
one.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, hey, thanks for having us on.
Dude, thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
How close are you to your competition?
3-ish weeks.
3 weeks. Well, God bless. Stick with it. If you don't mind me asking, what's your body weight at right now?
I'm 108.
108.
Right
God bless.
Crazy.
God bless.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
but
best of luck with all that. Stick with it. I mean, stick with the plan, dude. You're doing great. You keep getting jacked.
Kill it. Hell yeah.
Just keep being a fucking unstoppable force.
Hell yeah, dude.
And and then we didn't even touch on this, but I know you have your coaching program. And you have all your clients and everything. I hope that's going well. It seems like it is.
Yeah, I really like it. It's kind of blossomed into something it's really challenging, but it's because I have my regular job too, but it's really rewarding to work with people in that way. And like, I don't have like, a huge roster of clients, so that means that there's a lot of flexibility within like how I can do my check-ins with them and like how thorough I can be.
So it's more personal, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so I honestly don't know how people have, like 30 or 40 clients. I guess if it's their full-time job, that makes sense. But yeah, I really like it. So just kind of like navigating through like what, like figuring out like what type of people I want to work with as far as like what goals they're after and whatnot. But I really like it, yeah.
And where can people go to like learn more about your coaching, become a client potentially? I know you're pretty booked right now, but like down the road, like where can people find you on social media and like find you and support you and all of that?
I do have a separate coaching Instagram. It's just under Jaybird Soup Coaching, which that's a whole other thing. Like if I continue to go down this path, like I'm gonna have to work on like branding and all of that.
Hey,
I have no idea about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like maybe work with like a graphic designer or like eventually have like a different name. But yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, it's exciting. I
Cool.
really like it.
Good shit. I'm very happy for you both.
Hell
Keep
yeah.
killing it. You're both doing great things.
You too, man.
I know,
Fucking
you
A.
too. This
Yeah.
is exciting. I like your new setup. It's
Thanks,
really
man.
cool.
good.
Oh, and I didn't even say this in the beginning. Thank you guys for coming and supporting at Casablanca. That really meant a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, for sure,
So
man.
thank you guys
Absolutely.
very. Didn't make it very far, but it is what
Yeah,
it
that
is.
was some bullshit, but
Yeah, that
You
was
know.
rigged.
but yeah.
I was definitely surprised at the outcome, but
Hey, me too. Oh, before we get out of here, I want to show you guys this really quick. Fucking my buddy, one of my friends that came and watched, he got this picture of me when, where is it? He got this picture of me when I found out, I was on stage and I found out that I lost.
oh. Oh,
Yeah. What?
1,000-yard stare. Just kidding.
But anyway, it was a lot of fun. And thank you guys again for coming out and supporting that. That was awesome.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
thank you for coming and doing this.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it again sometime.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
dude.
lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.